A figure with striking white hair fires a gun with deadly precision, the muzzle flash illuminating his determined golden eyes. The shot hits a man in a red double-breasted vest and dark pants, who staggers backward in shock, clutching a bleeding wound in his chest as he collapses to the ground. Panic erupts among the surrounding men in suits as they rush toward the fallen man, shouting, "Boss Chow! Boss Chow!" One of them fires back furiously, yelling, "You bastard! What have you done?" While unleashing a barrage of gunfire. The protagonist is hit multiple times, bullets tearing through his shirt and flesh, but he screams defiantly, refusing to fall without a fight. The white-haired youth lies on the ground, battered and bloodied, his golden eyes staring upward as he reflects. The one absolute fairness in this world is that everyone only gets one life. Despite his wounds, he speaks with bitter resolve. "Chow Su, never saw this coming. Did you? You lived a life of unlimited splendor. Yet in the end, you die at the hands of a nobody like me." The man in the red double-breasted vest, presumably Chow Su, lies dead with vacant eyes, a bullet hole in his chest. His voice echoes mockingly, "Even with wealth that rivals nations, you cannot buy back your life now." The young man, still struggling to hold on, reaches out with a trembling hand and declares, "Mom, Dad, I finally avenged you." His expression is a mix of pain and relief as he questions fate's cruelty. Why was fate so unjust? Why was I forced to lose everything I held dear? The final image focuses on his outstretched hand against a backdrop of a cloudy sky, as he whispers with defiant sorrow, "I am unwilling." Darkness surrounds a single, intense declaration. "I refuse to accept this ending." The words burn with fierce determination, breaking through the void. The scene shifts to a surreal, crimson space where the young man with white hair appears to be falling backward, his body fading into shadowy tendrils that dissolve into the blood-red background. Glowing pink particles float around him, emphasizing the surreal and painful nature of his descent. His golden eyes snap open wide in shock and renewed resolve, the close-up capturing the spark of life and defiance within him despite his grievous injuries. The background blurs into a grid-like pattern, symbolizing a return to consciousness or a moment of clarity. The perspective widens to reveal the young man lying on the ground, his body battered but his spirit unbroken. His eyes burn with determination as he silently vows to fight against the cruel fate that has brought him to this point. The young man with white hair lies on a bed in a modest, sunlit room, his lean, muscular body clad only in striped shorts. The gentle breeze stirs the curtains, casting soft shadows across the simple furnishings. A wooden desk cluttered with books and a lamp, a chair, and a spinning wheel in the corner. He stares upward, his expression a mix of confusion and awakening as he slowly regains consciousness. Suddenly, he sits up abruptly, clutching his chest in disbelief. His golden eyes widen as he questions aloud, "Didn't Chow Su's bodyguards gun me down?" The room around him feels both familiar and strange, the weight of his recent memories pressing heavily on his mind. His gaze shifts to the surroundings, taking in the modest apartment with a growing sense of recognition. This is the apartment I lived in back when I was a student," he realizes, his voice trembling with shock and wonder. "Have I been reborn into the past?" The quiet room, with its scattered books and simple decor, confirms the surreal truth settling in his heart. His eyes then fixate on the television screen, where a vibrant advertisement plays, showcasing two fierce warriors locked in battle. The voiceover announces, "Conviction, Full Immersion Holographic VR MMO. Now in open beta." The vivid imagery and the promise of a new virtual world hint at the possibilities awaiting him, as the young man steels himself to face this unexpected second chance with renewed determination. The young man's golden eyes narrow with disbelief as he mutters, "Conviction just launched? I really came back." The shock of his unexpected return to life pulses through him, igniting a fierce determination. Standing shirtless in the modest room, he holds a framed photo, his lean, muscular form illuminated by the soft sunlight filtering through the window. "My name is Nye Yen," he declares quietly, grounding himself in this strange new reality. The photo reveals a younger version of himself alongside a dignified older couple, his parents, smiling warmly in a sunlit park. "These are my parents in the photo," he reflects, a bittersweet smile touching his lips as memories flood back. His thoughts drift to a vivid recollection. "I remember, at this point in time, Mom and Dad were trading polonium at the border." The scene shifts to a glowing blue crystal, symbolizing the vital strategic resource that brought his family immense wealth. It was a vital strategic resource the state acquired at hundreds of times the market value, bringing our family a massive fortune. The image transitions to a fiery metal smelting factory, money raining down in abundance. Later, Father opened a metal smelting company, and we quickly rose to wealth. But the tone darkens as shadowy figures with glowing red eyes loom ominously. But the good times didn't last. When he was 25, his father's business was targeted by Chao Su's Century Financial Group. The very friends and relatives his father trusted most were bought off by Chao Su, and they betrayed him. The company collapsed into bankruptcy. Unable to bear the weight of ruin, his father took his own life with poison, while his mother fell ill from grief and exhaustion, eventually passing away in despair. Standing alone in the rain before 3 gravestones, the young man faces the harsh reality of his family's tragic downfall. He reflects bitterly on how his privileged upbringing in that past life made him incredibly lazy, a good-for-nothing who wasted his days. Now, staring at his own reflection in the mirror, his lean, muscular torso revealed, he admits that with nowhere left to turn, he had no choice but to take extreme measures and drag Chao Su down to hell with him. Yet, a spark of hope ignites within him as he clenches his fist and declares, "But since heaven has given me a chance to start over, this time, I won't lose anything again." His golden eyes burn with renewed determination, ready to seize this unexpected second chance. The scene shifts to a futuristic digital world where a revolutionary holographic game called Conviction is introduced. A game that changed the world. Countless financial groups would flock to its servers, including Chao Su's Century Financial Group, which built its fortune starting right here in Conviction. The game quickly became humanity's second world. In his past life, he was a great thief, level 180 and rising, standing at the forefront of this new digital frontier. The protagonist glances down at the screen of his phone, the date and time clearly displayed. July 25th, year 25, 16.37. Today is July 25th, year 25. Conviction has only been online for 7 days, he murmurs, a spark of hope igniting in his golden eyes. I'm in time. His gaze sharpens, determination radiating from his expression as he recalls the state of the game. Right now, the highest-ranked players on the leaderboards should only be level 5. With the memories of my past life, I have the power to surpass them all. This is my golden opportunity to turn the tables. Standing shirtless in the modest room, he holds his phone thoughtfully. If I remember correctly, I still have some savings left right now. It's enough to buy the lowest-grade gaming helmet. The simple card lying on the table confirms his modest funds, but also the first step toward reclaiming his destiny. Clenching a piece of dark fabric tightly in his hand, his voice hardens with resolve. Just you wait, Chao Su. You destroyed my family. The grip tightens, a silent vow of vengeance and determination to rewrite his fate. The protagonist swiftly pulls on a black jacket over his white shirt, his sharp golden eyes focused and resolute. His stance is confident, as if ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead, the movement fluid and purposeful. His feet step forward decisively across the room, clad in casual sneakers, the determination in his stride echoing the fierce vow burning within him. A bold declaration rings out in his mind. This time, I will change everything. The modest room around him fades into the background as his resolve takes center stage. Outside, the night sky is clear, a full moon casting a gentle glow over a simple apartment building. Warm light spills from a single window, hinting at the quiet intensity unfolding within. The calm exterior contrasts with the storm of ambition brewing inside. Inside, hands carefully lift a sleek, futuristic gaming helmet, its design sharp and advanced. Despite starting 7 days behind everyone else, a confident voice assures, even though I'm starting 7 days later than everyone else, with the advantage of my rebirth, I will crush every opponent in my path and rise to the pinnacle of conviction. The promise of vengeance and triumph pulses through the moment, setting the stage for a new beginning. The moment arrives as the protagonist lifts a sleek, futuristic gaming helmet, its surface glowing with intricate blue circuitry that pulses like a heartbeat. With steady hands, he places the helmet over his head, the visor sliding down to cover his eyes, immersing him in the digital realm. Streams of binary code cascade around him, signaling the transition from reality to the virtual world. A dark, ornate frame emblazoned with a glowing skull appears, displaying the message. Logging into Conviction. The digital environment hums with energy as the connection solidifies, the anticipation of the journey ahead palpable. The screen shifts to a vast, detailed map of the game's world, segmented into various territories. A prompt commands, "Please select your starting nation." Below, a naked avatar stands poised, ready for customization. The map reveals 3 major factions. The Lawful Good faction of Light, centered around the Viridian Empire. The Citrine Empire, a tribal federation of dwarves, beastmen, and elves. And the darker regions inhabited by undead and demonkin tribes. The divisions hint at the complex alliances and conflicts awaiting players. The scene transitions to vivid illustrations of the faction's inhabitants. The Viridian Empire is depicted as a human nation governed by a council of elders, represented by a diverse group including a nun wielding a mystical staff, a hooded figure, and a masked assassin, all poised with determination. Below them, the Citrine Empire's tribal federation is brought to life with a fierce dwarf brandishing a massive weapon, a snarling beastman, and a serene elf with piercing green eyes. These images embody the rich lore and variety of races players can align with as they embark on their adventure. The screen reveals the selection of birthplace, displaying a majestic floating city surrounded by clouds and mountains. The message confirms the choice. You have selected your birthplace, Viridian Empire. Below, a prompt requests, please name your character. The protagonist reflects with a calm confidence, recalling his past life. In my past life, I chose the Gale Thief class in the Viridian Empire. I poured years of blood and sweat into that build. I know every single skill and class quest by heart. Therefore, choosing the Gale Thief again is the only way to fully maximize the advantage of my rebirth. His golden eyes gleam with determination as he prepares to reclaim his former prowess. A dark, swirling aura envelopes him as the confirmation screen flashes. You have selected the class, Gale Thief. The figure strikes a dynamic pose, hands extended forward, surrounded by a vortex of energy that hints at his agility and power. The scene shifts to a towering, muscular giant chained but standing resolutely on a rocky landscape beneath a bright sky. The narration explains, for those who prefer peace, there is the neutral faction, a lawful good alliance home to the giant tribes. Above, a shadowy, ominous figure with glowing purple eyes and crackling energy looms, representing the lawful evil dark faction, a dictatorship ruled by the demonkin and undead tribes. The stark contrast between these factions highlights the complex world awaiting the player. The name Nirvana Flame appears boldly within a dark, ornate frame adorned with glowing blue eyes and skeletal motifs, signaling the birth of a new identity in this digital realm. A streak of vibrant blue energy cuts across the screen, emphasizing the significance of this moment. Confirmation follows swiftly. Name accepted, and character created successfully. The messages float above a sprawling, sunlit cityscape labeled as Viridian Empire Calor City. Streams of blue and yellow energy swirl through the air, converging on a glowing point in the city square, marking the player's entry into the game world. The protagonist gazes intently at a translucent, jagged-edged interface displaying his character's stats. Class, Thief, Level, 0-1 with attributes including Strength, 6, Dexterity, 8, Defense, 5 Intelligence, 4 and HP, 80. His hands hover over the display as a familiar sensation washes over him, prompting the thought, this familiar feeling, it's back. With a determined expression, he begins allocating his available points, deciding to add 3 points to Strength and 2 points to Dexterity. Reflecting on past errors, he resolves, in my past life, I messed up my stat allocation and wasted so much time leveling. I won't make the same mistake this time. The bustling city behind him fades slightly as he focuses on optimizing his character's potential from the very start. The bustling city square of Calor City is alive with activity under a bright blue sky. A grand stone structure stands prominently, its archway framing a shimmering teleportation gate that pulses with blue energy. A translucent sign hovers above, declaring, Calor Teleportation Gate, connects to all cities, towns, and villages. Various figures, including a green-robed elf wielding a staff and armored adventurers, gather around the gate, some preparing to step through the swirling portal. Nearby, a lively vendor with dark hair and a confident grin holds up a set of gleaming daggers, calling out to passers-by. His banner reads LV, 3 Arcane Mage. He boasts, top-quality level 0 white-tier dagger, 2 attack points, that's 1 point higher than the starter weapon, just 2 coppers. His enthusiasm draws the attention of a silver-haired youth clad in a dark cloak, who watches intently. The vendor continues, limited stock of 3, when they're gone, they're gone. The MC smirks knowingly, recalling past mistakes. White-tier daggers sell for just 1 copper in Locktown, and the teleport there is free, he muses. In my past life, I was foolish enough to buy one, only to realize later I'd been scammed. But this time around, I remember every little detail clearly. His golden eyes gleam with renewed confidence as he plans his next move. At another stall, a young man clad in shining armor and a green undershirt enthusiastically waves a thick purple book above his head. A sign beside him reads 6 coppers. He calls out, Stealth Skill Book, 6 coppers. Newbie thieves. Come take a look. Learn stealth and get a head start on the competition. His energetic pitch fills the air, offering valuable knowledge to those eager to advance in the game. The protagonist approached a stall where a young man clad in shining armor enthusiastically held up a thick purple book, advertising it as a stealth skill book priced at 6 coppers. The armored vendor's cheerful pitch filled the air, but the MC's sharp gaze quickly assessed the price as far too steep. Nearby, 2 other figures discussed the cost in hushed tones, lamenting that 6 coppers was simply unaffordable for them despite their desire to buy it. The MC's mind raced as he muttered the word stealth to himself, recognizing the importance of the skill. Stepping forward, he asked the vendor directly, "How much for the stealth skill book?" The vendor confirmed the listed price of 6 coppers per book with a friendly smile, his hand resting on the counter. The MC's thoughts turned inward as he recalled the critical value of the stealth skill, considering it the single most powerful basic skill for thieves in the early game and absolutely essential for his progress. He reflected on memories from his past life, revealing a hidden chest in the Wildcat zone near Town that contained the skill, which would drastically accelerate his leveling speed. A map appeared in his mind, showing Town's fortified walls and the dense forest of the Wildcat zone just beyond. He noted that the area was a level 5 monster zone, far beyond the reach of most players who were only level 2 or 3, meaning no one should have reached it yet. With a confident smirk, the protagonist raised a finger and addressed the vendor. "Hey, buddy, give me this stealth book for free." He offered a deal in exchange. He would reveal a secret method to farm over a dozen stealth books in a single day, promising valuable information in return for the coveted skill book. A young man clad in shining armor and a green undershirt scowled angrily, shouting, "Beat it! Get lost! Where did this psycho come from? You actually think you can just mooch a stealth book off me?" Standing calmly before him, the protagonist's status hovered above his head, reading LV0 Gale Thief. As he met the hostility with a composed smirk, the MC raised a hand slightly and said with a confident tone, "Don't be so hasty. If I'm not mistaken, you farmed these books from the fallen shamans near Linktown, didn't you?" His golden eyes gleamed under the bright blue sky as he spoke, the scarf around his neck fluttering gently in the breeze. The armored vendor's eyes widened in shock as he stepped back, exclaiming, "You, how did you know that?" The protagonist stood behind a wooden table displaying several skill books. His posture relaxed as he continued, "The exact coordinates should be around 22385, 21338, 23329. Am I right?" The young man's expression shifted to one of disbelief and awe, sweat forming on his brow as he thought, "This guy, he even knows the exact coordinates. Could what he said be true? Can I really farm over a dozen skill books a day? How is he doing this? He's clearly only level 0. His mind raced, struggling to comprehend the knowledge and confidence radiating from the seemingly inexperienced thief. The young man clad in shining armor suddenly thrust the thick purple book forward with determination, shouting, "Damn it! Let's do this! It's just one stealth book. I can farm 3 a day anyway. Here, take it." A notification appeared, indicating, "You are trading with player." The protagonist accepted the book with a confident smile, saying, "All right, you're straightforward, brother. Listen carefully. Go farm Murloc wizards at coordinates 22385, 21338, 23329. That's near the Murloc wizard camp, and you can get over a dozen stealth skill books a day there." Another notification confirmed, "Player has traded you an item." The armored young man clenched his fist excitedly, declaring, "Brother, I'm heading there to try it right now." The MC nodded and replied, "Good luck, right?" Fallen shamans also dropped the Night Owl's perception skill. "If you get any extras, remember to send one my way." With a determined expression, the young man prepared to teleport, shouting, "You got it, brother. If what you say is true, I'll mail it to you the second it drops." A glowing magic circle appeared beneath his feet as he activated the teleportation spell, while the protagonist watched calmly from behind the counter. A surge of energy enveloped the protagonist as he stood resolute in the town square, his scarf fluttering in the breeze. With a determined expression, he thought to himself, "Now that I've secured the stealth skill, it's time to go crack open that hidden chest." The scene shifted to the bustling streets of Town, where various adventurers and townsfolk moved about under a clear blue sky. The young man observed the fortified gates ahead, mentally preparing for the journey that lay beyond the town's walls. Dark, swirling energy radiated from his hands as he focused intently on the thick purple skill book before him. A notification appeared, confirming, "You have learned the skill." With a decisive step, the MC planted his foot firmly on the ground, the dark aura trailing behind him as he prepared to move forward, ready to put his newly acquired skill to the test. The protagonist extended his hand forward, dark, swirling energy trailing behind him as he activated his newly acquired skill. A glowing notification appeared before him, declaring, "Activating skill," signaling the beginning of his covert journey. His golden eyes narrowed with focus as he melted into the bustling crowd, becoming nearly invisible to the unsuspecting townsfolk around him. With a sudden burst of speed, he dashed forward, leaving behind a shimmering trail of shadowy energy that zigzagged through the air. The landscape blurred as he moved swiftly past the fortified gates, the bright blue sky and distant mountains framing his rapid advance. His form was a ghostly silhouette, blending seamlessly with the environment as he closed the distance to his destination. Emerging from the town's edge, he landed gracefully amidst a dense forest, the sunlight filtering through the canopy above. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, and the rustling leaves whispered secrets of the wild. His body tensed, ready to spring into action as he prepared to navigate the treacherous terrain ahead. Deep within the shadowy woods, the atmosphere grew ominous as countless pairs of glowing red eyes appeared from the darkness, marking the entrance to the wildcat zone. The MC stood poised, his presence barely perceptible as he surveyed the dangerous territory. The forest seemed alive with unseen threats, but he remained undeterred, ready to face whatever lurked within the shadows. Shadows flickered among the dense trees as several wildcat creatures prowled the forest floor. Their fur was dark, and each bore a single glowing red eye in the center of their foreheads, bearing sharp teeth in menacing grins. Level indicators hovered above them, revealing their strength. Some marked LV2, while the largest among them was LV4, signaling a dangerous presence lurking in the underbrush. Deeper into the woods, a cluster of these creatures surrounded a gleaming silver chest resting on a fallen tree trunk. The wildcats here were stronger, all marked LV5, their eyes gleaming with a predatory focus as they guarded the treasure. The forest canopy filtered sunlight down onto the scene, casting dappled shadows that danced across the ground and the chest, hinting at the value hidden within. Nearby, the protagonist stood calmly, his sharp golden eyes fixed on the scene before him. Dark, swirling energy enveloped his form, blending him into the shadows as he prepared to make his move. His expression was one of quiet confidence, the faintest smile playing on his lips as he assessed the challenge ahead, ready to claim the prize guarded by these fierce beasts. A visual guide appeared, illustrating the hierarchy of chests within the world of conviction. The ranks ranged from common white and silver chests to more coveted gold, dark gold, and the rare legendary chests. A voiceover explained, "In conviction, chests are graded by rarity: white, silver, gold, dark gold, and legendary. The higher the chest's rank, the better the loot." Each chest glowed with its respective color, emphasizing the increasing value and allure of the treasures that awaited those brave enough to seek them. The silver chest gleamed quietly, nestled against the rough bark of a fallen tree. A notification labeled it clearly as a silver chest. The voiceover explained, "The contents of these chests are fixed. Once looted, the chest disappears forever." The MC's thoughts confirmed his discovery. This was indeed the hidden silver chest of the Wildcat Zone, untouched by any previous adventurer. Surrounded by the dense forest, the MC exhaled slowly, dark energy swirling faintly around him. He acknowledged the danger ahead, noting, "Even so, this is a level 5 monster zone. It's not a place a level 0 character like me can challenge." Yet, a hint of resolve softened his expression as he added, "But the upside is, even if I die here, I won't lose any experience or equipment." With a sudden motion, he activated his stealth skill once more, the words "activating skill" flashing before him. His form blurred as he vanished into the shadows, moving with swift, silent precision through the forest. The dark trail of his passage left the wildcats startled, their glowing red eyes darting in confusion as they tried to track the invisible intruder. The black-furred creatures scattered, their sharp cries echoing through the trees, but none could pinpoint his location as he advanced toward the coveted treasure. The protagonist twisted through the air, dark energy trailing behind him as he closed in on the silver chest perched on a high tree branch. His mind raced with urgency, knowing his stealth skill would only last for a brief 2 minutes, and the time needed to open the chest would further eat into that window. He steeled himself, determined to move swiftly before the wildcats could detect his presence. A close-up of one of the wildcats revealed its glowing red eyes narrowing sharply, alert to the faintest disturbance. The creature's intense gaze pierced the shadows, signaling the danger that lurked nearby. Suddenly, the MC launched into action, a swirl of dark energy encircling him as he leapt forward with a fierce determination. Beside him, a wildcat mirrored his movement, its body coiled to strike, but the distance between them was carefully maintained. His voice echoed in his mind, warning, "Can't get too close to the cats. They'll detect me." The scene expanded to show the MC spinning midair, a protective dark aura enveloping him as he narrowly avoided the wildcats below. The forest around him blurred with motion, emphasizing the speed and precision of his movements as he aimed to reach the chest without alerting the dangerous predators. The protagonist's feet touched the ground with a barely audible whisper, dark energy swirling around his legs as he landed gracefully. His movements were fluid and precise, a silent dance of shadows that kept him hidden from the watchful eyes of the wild cats below. With a swift, controlled leap, he descended from the tree, his body enveloped in a faint, dark aura that blurred his form. The forest around him seemed to bend with his motion, leaves and branches whipping past as he closed the distance to the silver chest resting on the forest floor. His hands reached out, ready to claim the prize before the predators could react. A digital interface flickered into view, displaying the words "Opening Chest." As a loading bar slowly filled, the MC's sharp golden eyes narrowed in concentration, his expression tense but composed. "Stay calm. I have to stay calm," he muttered under his breath, aware that his stealth could shatter at any moment, leaving him vulnerable to the level 5 wild cats lurking nearby. Above, the wild cats remained alert, their glowing red eyes fixed on the spot where the MC had just landed. The black and white creatures crouched low, muscles tensed as they prepared to pounce. Yet, for now, the MC remained undetected, his focus unwavering as he worked quickly to unlock the secrets hidden within the silver chest. The protagonist's hand reached out decisively, lifting the heavy lid of the silver chest. A soft glow emanated from within, casting faint light on the rough wood surrounding it. The moment the chest creaked open, a digital notification appeared, declaring, "Chest opened. Time elapsed. 27 seconds." The tension in the air was palpable as the treasure was finally revealed. His sharp golden eyes narrowed with intense focus, the strands of his tousled silver-gray hair falling slightly over his forehead. A faint shimmer of dark energy flickered around him, emphasizing the gravity of the moment. The close-up captured the determination etched across his angular face, every muscle taut with anticipation. Clutching the prize, a skill book adorned with a blue gem and intricate designs, he crouched low, dark energy swirling around his form like a cloak. "It's mine," he declared with fierce conviction. The text beneath the image detailed the contents. Skill book, vital strike, skill description. When striking an enemy's vital points, deals additional damage. Skill attributes, deals 150% damage on a successful vital point hit. Cooldown, 30 seconds. His voice softened as he added, "My path to perfect leveling begins now." The forest around him seemed to hold its breath, the wild cat's glowing eyes still searching in vain as the MC secured his hard-won prize. The stealth effect suddenly faded, our MC standing atop a tree branch as the glowing notification declared, "Effect has expired." Below, the wild cats with their fierce red eyes snapped to attention, their snarls and tense postures signaling their readiness to attack. The forest seemed to hold its breath as the predators locked onto the now visible figure above. Without hesitation, the youth launched himself off the branch, twisting midair with a fluid motion as the wild cats lunged upward, claws extended. The scene captured the dynamic descent, his scarf trailing behind him like a banner, while the creatures swarmed below, desperate to intercept. Landing with precision amidst the clearing, the young man held the skill book aloft, a radiant aura surrounding him as the digital interface confirmed, "You have learned the skill." A confident smile played across his lips as he declared simply, "Done." The energy around him shimmered, marking the successful acquisition of a powerful new ability. A close-up revealed his sharp golden eyes gleaming with excitement as he mused. "It really is the ultimate thief skill, and it's learnable even at level 0. His voice brimmed with determination. "With this, the difficulty of the early game will be cut by at least half." The MC's expression was resolute, ready to face the challenges ahead with newfound strength. Our MC, his sharp golden eyes gleaming with a mix of mischief and relief, called out cheerfully, "Hey! Hello there. Thanks for guarding this chest for me." His voice carried a light-hearted tone despite the tense situation. Suddenly, his form began to distort, digital fragments swirling around him as he fell backward through a cascade of glowing ribbons. In conviction, dying makes you lose experience and equipment, he mused aloud, his expression calm despite the chaos. "But I'm level 0 right now and I only have starter gear. I don't mind dying." The digital particles flickered intensely, signaling a transition. A stark notification appeared, framed by ominous horned skull motifs. "You have died," followed by "You dropped," and teleporting to the nearest town. The messages confirmed the consequences of his fall, yet the tone remained matter-of-fact, underscoring the youth's acceptance of the setback. Moments later, the scene shifted to a bright, open town square under a clear blue sky. The young man stood upright, surrounded by shimmering digital particles as he rematerialized. A faint smile crossed his lips as he remarked, "Phew, nothing beats the Death Express for a free trip back to town." His scarf fluttered gently in the breeze, and the atmosphere was calm, signaling a fresh start after the abrupt return. Our MC's sharp golden eyes gleamed with renewed determination as a swirling wind of energy enveloped him. Now, to initiate phase 2 of my leveling plan, he declared, his expression resolute beneath the fluttering strands of his tousled hair. The air around him crackled with anticipation, signaling the start of a new chapter in his journey. The scene shifted to a bustling town street, viewed from above, where the hustle and bustle of townsfolk filled the cobblestone roads. A swift motion cut through the air, marked by a sharp SAA sound effect, as the young man moved with purpose through the crowded thoroughfare, his scarf trailing behind him like a banner. Standing on a quiet village path, the MC contemplated his next move. Phase 2 requires 20 copper coins, he mused, eyes scanning the quaint houses and villagers nearby. But new accounts only start with 10. I need to make some quick cash. His gaze settled on a particular spot, recalling, if memory serves, there's a hidden NPC quest right here. The determination in his voice was clear as he prepared to take action. Before him stood a tall, muscular man with long brown hair tied back, shirtless and carrying a large bow with a quiver full of arrows slung over his shoulder. The label Hunter Klaus appeared beside the imposing figure. Our MC faced him calmly as a digital quest notification appeared. Quest accepted. Objective: collect 20. The two figures stood ready, the promise of a new challenge ahead as the sun shone brightly above them. Under the bright blue sky of a rustic village, our MC stood confidently before a burly man wielding a large axe and carrying a bundle of logs. The label identified him as Farmer Endy. A glowing digital quest notification appeared. Quest accepted. Objective: kill 50. The young man's scarf fluttered in the gentle breeze as he prepared to embark on this new task. Inside a warmly lit room, a sharp-eyed man with spiky hair and a mischievous grin held a vial dripping with a green liquid. The label named him Alchemist, or... He spoke eagerly. I heard from Klaus and Endy that a youngster took on their requests. I happen to need some alchemical ingredients myself. Would you be willing to gather them for me? A digital prompt flashed. Hidden quest triggered. The MC listened intently, considering the offer. The scene darkened, highlighting the youth's glowing golden eyes as he clasped his hands together with a confident smirk. It's a secret known only to me, he declared, accepting the challenge. Consider it done, Mr. Orr. The digital interface confirmed. Hidden quest accepted. Objective: collect 21. His resolve was clear as he prepared to tackle this hidden mission alongside the others. The focus shifted to the ground where a massive, silver-gray rat with glowing orange eyes prowled through the grass. Its sharp claws dug into the earth as it sniffed the air, alert and dangerous. A digital status box displayed. Silver-gray giant rat HP. 53 of 53. Signaling the formidable foes awaiting the young man's skill and determination. Our MC launched himself into the air with a swift, fluid motion, his scarf trailing behind him like a shadow as he brandished a glowing red dagger. The sky stretched wide and clear above, framing his dynamic leap. A digital prompt flashed beside him, signaling a powerful, precise attack was about to be executed. The massive silver-gray rat recoiled in pain, its glowing orange eyes wide as the dagger struck a critical point. The numbers -21 appeared in bold red, accompanied by the words vital point hit, confirming the devastating impact. The young man's sharp golden eyes gleamed with satisfaction as he thought, just as I expected from. The beast collapsed with a heavy thud, its eyes marked with excess to indicate defeat. Two digital notifications appeared simultaneously. Obtained X1 and obtained X1, marking the successful collection of quest items. Without hesitation, the youth crouched low, his dagger glowing with a golden aura as he prepared to strike again. The air shimmered with energy as he delivered a final, decisive blow. A small smile crossed his lips as he noticed. It actually dropped a piece of gear. The moment was charged with triumph, the promise of progress clear in his determined stance. Our MC's sharp golden eyes narrowed as a pack of snarling, red-eyed beasts charged toward him across the grassy field. Their fierce growls filled the air, but he remained calm and focused, readying himself for the oncoming assault. With a swift, fluid motion, he unleashed a series of precise, glowing red strikes that cut through the night, each hit landing perfectly on the creature's vital points. The words "vital strike" flashed repeatedly as the beasts were sent flying, their bodies writhing in defeat. As dawn broke, the young man stood tall beneath the clear blue sky, a faint smile playing on his lips. A shimmering holographic image of a pair of sturdy leather leg guards materialized before him, accompanied by detailed stats. Tough leather leg guards. Quality: white tier. Level requirement: level 0. Attribute: defense +4. And user restriction: warrior, any faction. He mused aloud. These leg guards, if I throw them on the auction house, they'll fetch at least 7 copper. Suddenly, the scene shifted back to the field where more of the vicious beasts lunged at him with bared teeth and claws. His expression hardened as he prepared to engage once more, the tension thick in the air as the battle resumed. Our MC's sharp golden eyes focused intently as he moved with incredible speed, the motion lines blurring his profile. His scarf fluttered behind him, emphasizing the swift, decisive action he was about to take. Time passed, and the scene shifted to a peaceful village nestled among towering mountains and lush greenery. The young man and the burly farmer stood side by side in the village square, the sun casting soft shadows on the stone and wood buildings around them. A simple caption read, "1 hour later," marking the passage of time since the intense battle. As night fell, a glowing digital message appeared before the youth, announcing the completion of multiple quests. You have completed the quests for Hunter Klaus, Farmer Andy, and Alchemist Or. The rewards were displayed clearly. Copper X34 and X3. The young man's expression was calm but satisfied, his golden eyes reflecting the soft light of the moon and the ethereal glow of the notification. A close-up of his hand showed him listing the tough leather leg guards on the auction house, the digital interface confirming the action. He thought to himself, the rewards for this hidden quest are far beyond my expectations. I didn't think it would actually give out. With a renewed sense of purpose, he concluded, now I can head to the weapon shop. The scene shifted to a sturdy building marked clearly as the weapon shop, its sign featuring a large sword emblem against a bright blue sky dotted with fluffy clouds. Inside, a muscular man with a headband and a friendly smile greeted the newcomer warmly, his arms open wide. Welcome, respected adventurer. What can I get for you today? He asked enthusiastically. He boasted proudly. The weapons here are the best you'll find in the entire Western Prairie region. Various weapons, including axes and bows, lined the walls behind him, emphasizing the shop's extensive inventory. Our MC returned the smile with calm confidence, raising a finger as he stated his request clearly. I need a crossbow, usable at level 0, attack +3 or higher, firing speed 12 or higher. The price must be within 40 copper. His sharp golden eyes met the shopkeeper's gaze, setting precise conditions for the purchase. The shopkeeper's eyes gleamed with pride as he presented a finely crafted weapon. This is my masterpiece, he declared. It comes with the effect, attack +5, although the base firing speed is only 8, thanks to the actual firing speed is 15. Range is 30 yards, and the price is exactly 35 copper. Holding the crossbow out, he asked eagerly, respected adventurer, how does this crossbow suit you? Our MC decisively placed a handful of copper coins on the counter, stating firmly, I'll take it. Also, give me 9 bundles of rough iron bolts, the 1,000 pack kind. A digital confirmation appeared, showing the deduction of 44 copper coins and the successful purchase of the rapid-fire hand crossbow along with the 9 bundles of rough iron bolts. With the transaction complete, the young man turned to leave the weapon shop. The muscular shopkeeper waved enthusiastically from the doorway, calling out, Please come again, respected adventurer. Safe travels. The black-haired man's cheerful farewell echoed behind the departing figure. Outside, our MC raised his hand, summoning a translucent holographic map of the village and its surroundings. Now it's time to head to the wild bison zone, he murmured, his sharp golden eyes scanning the route ahead. With a swift motion, he vanished from the bustling streets, his cloak billowing as he teleported toward the dangerous hunting grounds. A dark, ominous image of a massive bison-like monster filled the screen, its glowing red eyes burning with menace. A voiceover explained gravely, in conviction, level suppression is absolute. Every 5 levels represents a massive power gap, and the wild bison monsters are level 8. At this stage, I'm afraid even the player ranked number 1 on the leaderboard would be helpless against them. The narration continued, let alone facing the even more powerful boss of the herd. Every single boss is a rare existence in conviction. The scene underscored the immense challenge awaiting the young adventurer in the wild bison zone. Our MC's sharp golden eyes gleamed with unwavering determination as he declared, but having been reborn, I have absolute confidence that I can hunt a wild bison boss way above my level. His profile was illuminated by a faint, ethereal glow, emphasizing the resolute set of his jaw. Even if I'm only level 0, he added firmly, his voice carrying the weight of his conviction. The scene shifted to a vast, rolling green landscape dotted with numerous bison grazing peacefully. A dark, ornate sign hovered in the air, reading Wild Bison Monster Zone, marking the dangerous territory he had just entered. Jagged rocks framed the foreground, hinting at the rugged terrain that awaited. Suddenly, the MC landed with a powerful impact between 2 towering cliffs, dust and debris scattering around him. The sky above was bright and clear, with leaves swirling in the breeze, adding a sense of motion and anticipation to the moment. Standing atop a rocky outcrop, the young man scanned the horizon, his scarf fluttering in the wind. He spoke aloud. Coordinates. 567, 528, 192. His gaze was steady as he continued. If my memory serves me right, this is the spot. The narrow valley below stretched out before him, the perfect place for the hunt to begin. Our MC stood hidden among jagged rocks, his sharp golden eyes fixed on the vast green hillside where a herd of wild bison roamed. A massive figure, larger and more imposing than the rest, led the group. Found it! The leader of the wild bison zone, he declared, his voice steady with resolve. The scene shifted to a close-up of the formidable beast, its glowing red eyes burning fiercely as flames flickered around its muscular frame. A digital overlay identified it as LV8 HP 300-300, underscoring the immense challenge it posed. The young man's expression turned confident as he raised his newly acquired crossbow, the 3 iron bolts loaded and ready. This really is the spot. The angle is perfect, he said with a slight smile, his gaze calculating. And the distance is exactly within this crossbow's range. The stats for the weapon appeared beside him. Small power crossbow attack. 5. Fire speed. 8. Range. 30. Bonus effect. Triple shot. Without hesitation, he released the bolts in a rapid, precise volley. The arrows streaked through the air with blinding speed, converging on the wild bison leader as it charged up the hill, the tension of the hunt reaching its peak. The massive wild bison leader, its eyes glowing fiercely with a fiery red light, charged forward as a volley of bolts rained down upon it. Despite the barrage, most of the bolts missed their mark, only one managing to land a vital hit, barely scratching the beast. A digital display hovered nearby, showing its health at 299 out of 300, underscoring the minimal damage inflicted. Our MC's voice echoed with a mix of frustration and resolve. The level gap between me and the wild bison leader is too wide. Even a successful hit only deals 1 point of damage. Undeterred, he gripped the rapid-fire hand crossbow tightly, the mechanism clicking as he prepared for another assault. But it doesn't matter. I brought a full 9,000 bolts with me. I'll whittle you down until you're dead. His determination was palpable as he readied himself for the relentless fight ahead. Another volley of bolts streaked through the air, striking the wild bison leader with the same pattern of near misses and a single hit, the creature's health dipping slightly to 298 out of 300. The beast's eyes burned with rage as it bellowed a terrifying roar, its massive form radiating an intense, fiery aura that seemed to shake the very ground beneath it. The wild bison leader lunged forward with ferocious speed, its glowing eyes blazing with fury. The young hunter's sharp golden eyes narrowed, unwavering in the face of the overwhelming power before him. The battle had only just begun, and the vast chasm in strength was clear, but so was his unyielding will to overcome it. A massive wild bison suddenly charged forward through the narrow valley, its powerful legs kicking up dust and debris as it barreled toward the protagonist. The creature's health bar hovered above it, signaling the imminent clash. A voice rang out sharply, "Incoming!" As the beast closed the distance with terrifying speed, the hunter stood firm, his sharp golden eyes locked on the fiery-eyed beast as it launched itself into the air, aiming to crush him beneath its immense weight. With calm precision, he raised his crossbow and fired a volley of bolts directly at the creature's blazing face. "Give it up. This is a glitch spot that's been verified countless times in the future," he declared confidently. "There's no way you can hit me." The bolts streaked through the air, some missing wildly, while one landed a vital hit, causing the beast to stagger slightly. The wild bison's health bar showed only a minor decrease, but the hunter's resolve did not waver. The rapid clicking of the crossbow's mechanism echoed as he prepared for another barrage, determined to wear down the seemingly invincible foe. Suddenly, a relentless storm of bolts rained down from above, each one thwipping through the air with deadly intent. The sheer volume of arrows created a dazzling curtain of projectiles, all aimed at the wild bison as it struggled to evade the onslaught. The battle intensified, the hunter's unwavering determination shining through as he unleashed his full arsenal against the formidable beast. The quiver of bolts steadily diminished, the numbers dropping from 8,063 to 6,060, then down to 5,016, marking the relentless passage of time and effort. A caption at the bottom quietly noted, 3 hours later, signaling the long, grueling battle that had unfolded. The wild bison leader's face filled the frame, its glowing red eyes blazing with fury as it roared fiercely, the health bar above it showing only a sliver of life remaining. The intensity of the moment was palpable, the beast's rage undiminished despite the barrage it had endured. Sweat trickled down the protagonist's face, his sharp golden eyes narrowed in disbelief and frustration. "I've already burned through nearly 4,000 bolts. How is this thing still not dead?" he muttered, the weight of the seemingly endless fight pressing down on him. The wild bison leader charged forward with explosive force, its fiery aura flaring wildly as arrows embedded themselves in its massive body. The sound of impact echoed fiercely, underscored by the beast's terrifying roar, signaling that the battle was far from over despite the hunter's relentless assault. The wild bison leader roared fiercely, its massive jaws snapping with deadly intent. The health bar above it showed a sliver of life remaining, but the beast's rage was undiminished. Despite the hunter's relentless attacks, the creature lunged forward, its glowing eyes blazing as it prepared to strike. The words miss, vital hit, -1, flashed, indicating the near misses and the minimal damage inflicted in the chaos of the battle. Suddenly, the beast collapsed with a thunderous crash, its health bar plummeting to 0. The ground shook violently as the massive form of the wild bison leader slammed into the earth, sending debris flying in all directions. The impact was so powerful that the surrounding environment seemed to tremble under the force of its fall. Smoke and dust rose from the crater where the beast had fallen, its lifeless body sprawled among shattered rocks. The protagonist stepped forward cautiously, his sharp golden eyes scanning the area as the dust settled. The narrow valley was now silent except for the faint wisps of smoke curling from the fallen giant, marking the end of the grueling fight. A glowing notification appeared before the hunter, announcing, "You have slain the high-level kill EXP bonus, plus 1800%. You have gained 8290 EXP. Golden light enveloped him as he absorbed the massive experience points, his level bar surging forward. The EXP from a high-level kill is just insane. It got me straight to level 2 in one go," he muttered, awe and relief mixing in his voice as the power of the victory settled over him. The protagonist crouched beside the rocky terrain, a swirling golden flame igniting on the ground where the wild bison leader had fallen. "Let's see what dropped," he said, eyes focused intently on the glowing remnants left behind. Suddenly, his sharp golden eyes widened with surprise as he held up a gleaming dagger, its dark blade catching the light. "It's a bronze-grade dagger," he exclaimed, the weapon radiating a faint aura. A detailed display appeared, revealing the item as A with attributes yet to be identified. A vivid illustration flashed before him, showing the hierarchy of equipment tiers in conviction. White tier, bronze grade, silver grade, gold grade, and legendary grade. A towering armored figure and a fierce dragon emphasized the rarity and value of these items. The narration explained that rare monsters, leaders, sub-elites, elites, and lords were exceptionally scarce, making the drop rate for equipment with actual attributes only 1 in 1,000. Each piece was incredibly precious. Bronze-grade weapons, in particular, boasted roughly 20% higher attack power than common gear and carried an additional attribute, making them highly sought after. The young hunter's lips curled into a confident smile as he considered the value of his prize. The wild bison leader should drop level 5 equipment. "This bronze dagger is worth at least 3 silver, he mused. "But first, I'll have to get its specific attributes identified." His sharp golden eyes gleamed with anticipation, already planning his next move. A notification appeared, confirming that the tough leather leg guards had been sold for 8 copper coins. Suddenly, a new message popped up. Player was requesting a voice call. The protagonist's sharp golden eyes flickered with recognition as he muttered, "Flying Stone? The mute paladin who sold me the skill book." He hesitated briefly before pressing the connect button. The screen shifted to reveal a young man with spiky black hair and bright golden eyes, his expression animated as he spoke eagerly. "Expert, I went to the coordinates you mentioned to grind, and it's for real. I've already gotten 2 books to drop, and my leveling speed is up by 50%. The paladin's excitement was palpable, but the protagonist's voice was calm and teasing as he replied, "Expert, I only gave you 1 book in exchange for a god-tier farming spot like this. Didn't you get the short end of the stick?" The paladin grinned widely, undeterred. "Don't make a big deal out of it. Just remember to send me a skill book if one drops." The hunter nodded with a small smile. "Of course, the moment it drops, I'll mail it to you, expert." Then, curiosity got the better of the paladin. "But expert, how did you know about this place? Weren't you only level 0 before?" The MC's expression darkened slightly as he revealed, "I used to play a different character. I deleted it and re-rolled a thief." The paladin's eyes widened in awe. "So that's how it is. Expert, your old character must have been incredibly high level then. Maybe even one of the top rankers." The conversation crackled with excitement and mystery, hinting at the hidden depths behind the hunter's sudden rise. The young paladin, clad in gleaming armor with bright golden eyes, eagerly asked about the protagonist's previous character. "Yeah, expert. On your old character, did you ever run the Fallen Shaman Camp dungeon?" he inquired, his expression hopeful. He explained that his party had attempted to clear the dungeon multiple times over the past few days but had wiped out every single time, losing almost all their equipment and experience in the process. The MC, standing confidently with a slight smile and holding up 2 fingers, responded smoothly, "No problem. A full step-by-step walkthrough. Price is 2 silver, non-negotiable." The paladin's eyes sparkled with excitement as he exclaimed, "Expert, you really have a full walkthrough for the fallen shaman camp?" The hunter nodded firmly. "Of course." The young man clenched his fists with determination, his eyes shining brightly as he declared, "Expert, I believe you. A mere 2 silver. Wait for me. I'll definitely convince my party leader." With a gentle whoosh, the protagonist turned away, the wind catching his scarf as he prepared to move on. "Now, time to get my dagger identified," he said, his sharp golden eyes fixed ahead as he set off toward the next step in his journey. The bustling streets of Telek Town stretched out under a clear blue sky, its medieval architecture casting long shadows on the cobblestone paths. Figures moved about, some cloaked and others armored, blending into the lively townscape as the protagonist made his way through the crowd. Inside a well-lit appraisal shop, a striking woman with long, flowing white hair and pointed ears leaned casually on the counter, her violet eyes sparkling with interest as she addressed the newcomer. "Respected adventurer, what item do you need appraised?" she asked, her tone both inviting and professional. The hunter, holding a sleek bronze dagger with a black handle and golden guard, replied simply, "A dagger." The appraiser lifted the dagger gracefully, her expression shifting to one of businesslike focus. "Identification fee is 10 copper. Proceed?" she inquired, the soft glow of the shop's ambient light highlighting the elegant contours of her face and the intricate details of her attire. The hunter's sharp golden eyes narrowed thoughtfully as he considered the cost. 10 copper? He mused silently. His mind quickly calculated the usual appraisal fees in conviction, noting that NPCs typically charged 5% of an item's vendor buyback price. He realized the market price was often more than 6 times that amount, leading him to conclude, and the market price is often more than 6 times that, which means this bronze dagger is worth at least 12 silver. The protagonist held out a handful of gleaming copper coins, his sharp golden eyes steady as he declared, "Appraise it." The coins sparkled under the soft light, the cost of identification clear and non-negotiable. In response, the white-haired appraiser, her long hair flowing and pointed ears visible, closed her eyes in concentration as magical, swirling golden energy enveloped the bronze dagger. The air shimmered with the power of the appraisal, the weapon glowing faintly as its secrets were revealed. The dagger materialized in a radiant display, surrounded by a crimson aura that pulsed with latent power. A translucent blue panel appeared beneath it, detailing the weapon's name and attributes. Bison Horn Dagger, bronze quality, level 0 requirement, with attack plus 18 and strength plus 5, weighing 1 pound, and restricted to thieves of any faction. The hunter's expression sharpened as he analyzed the stats, noting the dagger's extra strength attribute. "It actually has an extra attribute of strength plus 5, he mused, gripping the weapon firmly. Factoring in its base stats, this weapon's attack is nearly 10 points higher than a common dagger's. This gap is enough to put me in an invincible position at my current stage." The MC's sharp golden eyes gleamed with quiet confidence as he declared, "I have a weapon. I've also secured both vital strike and stealth." His hand was raised slightly, emphasizing his readiness. Yet, a shadow of concern crossed his face as he admitted, "However, I still lack the means to sustain myself in prolonged combat." A swirling green potion floated in the air, its vibrant color contrasting with the bandaged hand beneath it. The hunter's thoughts turned practical. For a thief, sustainable combat capability usually boils down to a choice between alchemy and the bandage skill. Health potions are vital in battle for rapid recovery, but they come with a hefty price tag. But for someone reborn like me, gold is no object. I can simply buy all the potions I need. Therefore, the combat bandage skill is the superior choice. Outside, the bright daylight illuminated the quaint building marked clearly as a pharmacy. The MC's voice was calm and decisive as he requested, "I'd like 2 basic underwater breathing potions." Inside the alchemy shop, the hunter stood firmly before a robed alchemist with pointed ears, surrounded by shelves filled with colorful vials and ingredients. "I'll acquire the combat bandage skill first before anything else," he stated with determination. The alchemist responded promptly, "Coming right up, adventurer," as he prepared to fulfill the order. The view widened to reveal Lake Rando, a sprawling settlement nestled beside the shimmering waters, its clustered buildings and scattered figures hinting at a bustling community. The MC stood at the edge, eyes scanning the horizon as he prepared to move forward. Suddenly, a blur of motion erupted as the hunter launched into action, a streak of blue energy slicing through the air toward a group of hostile merfolk and armored foes. The swift, precise strikes sent enemies sprawling, the chaotic clash underscored by the sharp sounds of combat. Despite the ferocity of the fight, the hunter's mind remained clear, noting, "We're out in the wild now. It's all too common for disputes over kill stealing to escalate into full-blown PvP here. I need to stay on my guard. The scene shifted to the entrance of the merfolk village at Lake Rando, where numerous level 3 merfolk line the path, their serpentine tails and aquatic features marking them as formidable obstacles. The hunter's gaze hardened as he considered his next move, thinking, to reach my destination, I have to cross this merfolk village and enter Lake Rando proper. But clearing this place out would require a raid force of at least 1,000 players. It seems stealth is my only option. Suddenly, a glowing announcement appeared, catching the hunter's attention. His sharp golden eyes narrowed as he absorbed the message. The Victorious Return Guild will commence a field wipe in 3 minutes. All players in the vicinity of the merfolk village are advised to leave immediately. The gravity of the situation settled over him, the urgency clear as he prepared for what was to come. A dark, ominous aura surrounded the figures of the Victorious Return Guild, their faces twisted with arrogance and menace. The MC's eyes narrowed as he recalled bitter memories. Victorious Return? He thought, recognizing the group instantly. Just like in my past life, they're as arrogant and domineering as ever, relying on their numbers to bully solo players. They even hunted me down for months back then. His expression hardened with resolve. But this time, I'll take my time settling the score with you all. The word stealth appeared boldly as the hunter suddenly vanished from sight, enveloped in a swirling blue mist. His form blurred as he activated the skill, disappearing from the eyes of all around him. The scene shifted to the bustling merfolk village, where aquatic enemies stood alert, their spears raised defensively. The hunter moved swiftly and silently through the village, his presence masked by the stealth effect as he passed by the unsuspecting foes. Suddenly, the stealth effect faded, and the hunter reappeared on the sandy shore near the water's edge. Without hesitation, he launched a blazing fireball forward, the fiery orb streaking through the air toward his target with fierce intensity. The fiery orb hurled by the hunter blazed through the air, its intense heat and light illuminating his determined expression. The flames wrapped around him as he launched himself forward, closing the distance with fierce speed. Against a mage, you either close the gap or run like hell, but running. His thoughts raced as he propelled himself through the air, the fire swirling around his form. "That is not my style," he resolved, eyes locked on his opponent. The figure standing before him was a tall, confident man clad in a dark cloak adorned with fiery patterns. Flames danced around his outstretched hand as he conjured a blazing fireball, his sharp gaze cold and unyielding. "Sorry, solo players aren't allowed in here," he declared with a smirk. "Scram if you know what's good for you." The hunter's mind quickly pieced together the identity of this hostile mage. Someone from the Victorious Return Guild? Since he's alone, he's fair game. The hunter's body twisted midair, dodging the incoming fireball with agile precision. The flames scorched the ground where he had just been, but he pressed forward relentlessly. Pyroblast has a 2-second cast time. That's more than enough time to get in his face, he thought, determination burning as fiercely as the flames surrounding them. Suddenly, the hunter winced as a searing pain shot through his side, the number -23 flashing before his eyes. A notification appeared. "Player is attacking you. Self-defense mode activated for 3 minutes." The mage's fireball had struck true, but the hunter's resolve remained unbroken. The battle had just begun. The MC narrowly dodged a powerful strike from the mage, who lunged forward with a glowing staff, the impact sending shockwaves through the ground. Despite the hit that caused a sharp pain and a damage indicator of -23, the agile man maintained his balance, his scarf fluttering wildly in the air. The mage, eyes blazing with fury, shouted a warning. "You have a death wish, thief. Victorious Return has already claimed this territory." He hurled a fiery projectile with deadly intent, the force of his attack cracking the earth beneath him as he advanced relentlessly. In response, the mage summoned a swirling ring of flames around himself, chanting, "Explosive fire ring." The fiery barrier erupted outward, encircling them both in a blazing inferno that illuminated their fierce expressions. The flames roared as the attack landed, inflicting a heavy blow of -39 damage on the MC. Seizing the moment, the MC quickly uncorked a vial and drank a glowing green potion, the healing magic instantly restoring +89 health points. His sharp yellow eyes gleamed with renewed determination as the fire continued to dance around him, readying for the next move in this deadly duel. The MC lunged forward, his fiery strikes swirling around the mage as he taunted. "You let a thief get within range. Do you really think you can escape?" The sharp yellow eyes of the lone fighter glared defiantly as he took a heavy blow, the damage number -36 flashing vividly. Struggling beneath the relentless assault, the man shouted, "Get off me!" as he summoned a blazing ring of fire that spiraled fiercely around him, the flames crackling with intense heat. The words "Repulsion Fire Ring" appeared boldly, marking the defensive barrier he conjured to push back his opponent. The mage's expression twisted with frustration as he observed the battle's toll. He's taken hit after hit. His health has to be critical. I'd estimate 20 points. Tops. Meanwhile, I'm sitting at 51 HP. A single fireball will finish him. The fiery aura around him intensified as he prepared for a decisive strike. With a furious yell, the attacker unleashed a blazing fireball, screaming, "Die! This is the price for crossing victorious return." The flames surged forward, illuminating his determined face as the final blow was set to land. The mage launched himself forward with a fierce kick, flames spiraling around his leg as he aimed a powerful strike at his opponent. The force of the attack sent shockwaves through the air, the fiery energy trailing behind him as he closed the distance with relentless speed. Gripping the hilt of his sword tightly, the man prepared for a decisive counterattack, the blade glowing faintly with a red aura as he readied himself to strike. His hand trembled slightly with the intensity of the moment, every muscle coiled for action. In a swift, fluid motion, he unleashed a precise and deadly strike, the words "vital strike" flashing boldly as his blade cut through the air toward the mage. The impact landed with brutal efficiency, forcing the dark-cloaked figure to stagger backward, caught off guard by the sudden assault. The mage's face twisted in disbelief and fear, his eyes wide as he gasped, How is this possible? You're a mere level 2 thief. How are you not dead after taking my fireball? Just how much health do you have?" The protagonist stood firm, his expression calm and unyielding as the stunned adversary struggled to comprehend the unexpected resilience before him. The protagonist smirked confidently as the stunned mage, his face painted blue with shock, exclaimed, "I get it! It was a basic instant health potion, but you're just a level 2 solo player. Where did you get the gold to buy potions?" Calm and composed, the man tightened his grip on his sword, his golden eyes piercing through the tension. "You can puzzle over the answers to those questions once you respawn back in town," he said coldly, his voice carrying a quiet threat. The mage, still engulfed in a flickering blue flame, stammered, "You!" The man's expression hardened as he examined the wooden staff in his hand. A level 0 bronze-grade staff. "I reckon I can sell this for over a dozen copper coins," he muttered to himself, already calculating his next move. "The rest of Victorious Return will be swarming this place any second. I need to vanish and fast." Meanwhile, a voice rang out urgently across the battlefield. "Bad news! Enemy spotted by the lake. Is down." A young man with short brown hair shouted, "After him! Don't let him get away!" As 2 armored warriors readied their weapons, preparing to give chase, the protagonist sprinted across the barren, rocky terrain near the water's edge, his figure growing smaller as he put distance between himself and the pursuers behind him. 2 figures, one with spiky dark hair and the other with a horned helmet, watched him flee, their eyes locked on the retreating silhouette as the ground beneath them was marked by the rapid passage. Suddenly, a heavy boot slammed down onto the earth with a thunderous impact, sending dust and debris flying. A voice rang out sharply, "Think you can run?" The challenge echoed across the open space, signaling the start of a relentless chase. Without hesitation, the muscular man with dark hair raised a massive sword, its blade glowing with fiery energy as he charged forward. "Not so fast," he shouted, his voice filled with fierce determination as he swung the colossal weapon down in a powerful arc. Flames erupted along the blade's path as the 2 combatants clashed violently, the words "linear sword slash" flashing boldly. The MC met the attack head-on, their bodies locked in a fierce duel amid the swirling fire and flying debris. The dark-haired warrior's eyes widened in shock as he realized, "He's too fast. How did he dodge that?" His expression was tense, muscles coiled as he struggled to keep up with the MC's swift movements. Meanwhile, the protagonist swiftly consumed an underwater breathing potion, the blue glow of the vial shimmering as he prepared to make his escape beneath the waves. The armored pursuer shouted urgently, "He's trying to escape underwater. Stop him!" As the chase intensified near the water's edge, with a fierce battle cry, the muscular man charged forward, his flaming sword blazing as he launched a powerful attack. "Charge!" and "Flame Slash!" echoed through the air as he aimed to cut down his fleeing opponent, the ground trembling beneath their rapid movements. The 2 combatants collided mid-air, the armored figure raising a shield while the other swung his fiery blade with deadly intent. Their intense clash sent sparks flying, both locked in a desperate struggle as the battle reached a critical turning point. The protagonist's eyes gleamed with fierce determination as he launched a blazing attack, flames swirling around him in a deadly arc. His expression was sharp and focused, every movement precise as he prepared to strike. With a powerful swing, he crashed into the rocky terrain, sending debris flying in all directions. The force of his assault propelled him forward, his body cutting through the air with incredible speed and agility. He tumbled through the air, landing with controlled grace despite the violent impact. Dust and small stones scattered around him as he quickly regained his footing, ready to continue the fight or make his escape. On the shore, two pursuers watched helplessly as a whirlpool formed in the water where the MC had just disappeared. One of them, clad in armor with a purple headband, cursed under his breath. "None of us are carrying underwater breathing potions. We're never going to catch that brat now." The other looked on with frustration, both realizing their quarry had slipped through their grasp beneath the waves. A woman clad in red and gold armor demanded sharply, "Well, where is he?" Below her, two men and a woman scrambled on the wooden dock, one of the men clutching a long staff. "We lost him. He jumped into the lake," the young man with reddish hair reported urgently, his eyes scanning the water's surface as the others prepared to follow. Nearby, a serious man with short dark hair and a sleeveless green vest spoke thoughtfully. "Should have respawned by now, right?" The young man with the staff nodded. "Ask him for that thief's name." A witch-like woman stood silently behind them, her gaze fixed ahead. Beneath the shimmering water, the MC floated calmly, bubbles rising around him as light filtered down from above. A voice echoed in his mind. "Says the thief goes by Nirvana Flame." The man smirked slightly, determination burning in his sharp yellow eyes. "Nirvana Flame. I won't forget that name. You'd better pray I don't catch you next time, kid." The protagonist swam deeper, his scarf trailing behind him as he moved with ease through the water. "Finally shook off that mob from victorious return," he muttered, relief evident in his tone. "If I recall correctly, there's a treasure chest hidden somewhere at the bottom of Lake Rando, too." His eyes gleamed with renewed purpose as he pressed onward into the depths. The protagonist's sharp eyes caught sight of a faint glimmer resting on the lakebed, partially hidden among the swaying aquatic plants. "There it is," he whispered, his breath forming bubbles that floated upward as sunlight filtered through the water's surface. With careful precision, he reached out and lifted the ancient chest, its weathered wood and iron bands still intact despite the years underwater. As the lid creaked open, a radiant blue pearl pulsed softly inside. The glowing text appeared. "Merfolk Water Repelling Pearl. Special item. Grants skill. Underwater breathing. Activate to breathe underwater for 30 minutes. Cooldown. 12 hours. He murmured thoughtfully. "It's actually a water-repelling pearl. It's not exactly a rare item, but right now, it's incredibly useful for me." Suddenly, a sharp, golden trident thrust toward him from the murky depths, narrowly missing his face. His eyes widened in alarm as he instinctively dodged the attack, bubbles scattering wildly around him. Glancing upward, he saw multiple tridents piercing the water's surface, their owners lurking just beyond sight. "Damn it! Did I stumble right into a merfolk nest?" he cursed, preparing to defend himself against the sudden ambush beneath the waves. The protagonist swam deeper into the lake, his sharp yellow eyes narrowing with resolve as he reached out toward the rocky lakebed. Bubbles floated around him, and the sunlight filtered through the water, casting a serene glow. Despite the calm, his voice echoed in his mind with a grim admission. "There's no way I can fight merfolk underwater." Suddenly, several imposing merfolk warriors surfaced, their blue skin shimmering under the sunlight and their glowing pink eyes wide with alarm. Their sharp teeth bared in a snarl, they turned their gaze toward the source of the disturbance, ready to confront the intruder. The scene shifted to the shore where a massive explosion erupted, sending a plume of smoke and debris skyward. The caption revealed the location. "Merfolk Tribal Village." The blast shook the ground, signaling the start of a fierce confrontation. Back underwater, the merfolk warriors launched themselves forward with powerful strikes, their muscular tails propelling them through the water as they aimed to overwhelm their foe. One swung a trident with deadly force, while others closed in, their movements swift and aggressive as the battle for control of the lake's depths intensified. The protagonist, known as Nirvana Flame, surfaced with a confident smirk, praising the efforts of his allies. "Great work, victorious return," he said, his sharp yellow eyes gleaming with determination. "Thanks to you guys luring all the merfolk away, my path is clear." Bubbles floated around him as he prepared to press onward. Swimming deeper, he reached a rocky underwater formation where a glowing message appeared. "You have discovered Heart of the Lake Island." He looked up at the towering rocks, a sense of accomplishment in his voice. "I finally made it to Heart of the Lake Island." The sunlight filtered through the water, illuminating the mysterious location. Breaking through the surface, the young man tilted his head back, water dripping from his tousled white hair as he breathed in the fresh air. The waves crashed around him, and a moment of relief washed over his face. Standing on the shore, he gazed out toward the water where a line of giant silver-gray crabs crawled along the beach. His eyes widened in surprise as he recognized a familiar figure among them. "She is Yao Yao," he whispered, the realization hitting him as the scene unfolded before him. The young man's thoughts drifted back as he recognized the pink-haired woman before him. Yao Yao. She was a holy mage and my teammate in my past life, he recalled, the memory vivid as they fought side by side. I never expected to run into her here, he admitted, surprise and nostalgia mingling in his voice. The scene shifted to a quiet night under a full moon, where the two sat close by a campfire. We had quite a history in my past life, he reflected softly, the warmth of the flames casting gentle shadows on their faces. Maybe it's fate, he mused, the bond between them palpable in the stillness. The moment lingered as he continued. Perhaps this is destiny. His gaze steady as the fire crackled beside them, the night wrapping them in a serene embrace. Suddenly, the pink-haired woman's head snapped up, eyes wide with alarm. Another player? She exclaimed, sensing an approaching presence. The man behind her tensed, his sharp yellow eyes narrowing as he assessed the threat. I have 3 monsters trailing me, if he decides to attack me now. He thought grimly, preparing for whatever might come next. The black-haired man plunged through the air, twisting his body as he descended rapidly toward the water below. A curved dagger gripped tightly in his hand. Below him, the pink-haired woman looked up, her expression calm yet resolute as the waves splashed around her. With a sudden burst of power, the protagonist launched a devastating attack, his blade glowing with a fierce blue energy as he aimed a precise strike at a vital point. The words "vital strike" flashed beside him, emphasizing the deadly intent behind the blow. The pink-haired woman raised her staff, a radiant golden light enveloping her as she called out, "Holy judgment!" The shimmering barrier formed around her, casting a protective glow as she prepared to counter the incoming assault. The clash erupted with explosive force as the protagonist's strike met the radiant shield. The scene was filled with dynamic energy, the words "vital strike" and "holy judgment" emblazoned across the scene, capturing the intensity of their battle as the waves roared around them. The 3 giant silver-gray crabs dissolved into pixelated fragments, vanishing from the shoreline as the pink-haired woman and the protagonist stood facing each other on the sandy beach. She held her staff firmly, while he gripped his curved dagger, the tension in the air dissipating as the threat was neutralized. The young man nodded toward her and said simply, "Thank you." Looking up at the clear blue sky, the protagonist smiled warmly and replied, "You're welcome. It was nothing." He then introduced himself with a calm confidence. "By the way, I'm Nirvana Flame." The pink-haired woman's eyes widened in surprise, her lips parting slightly as she repeated his name in disbelief. Nirvana Flame. The sunlight illuminated her expression, revealing a mixture of astonishment and recognition. A flash of memory crossed her mind, and a translucent image of the protagonist appeared behind him, reinforcing the connection. Nirvana Flame. Nye Yen, she thought, her voice barely a whisper. Doubt and hope mingled as she questioned. Could he be the Nye Yen I know? The young man's steady gaze met hers, the weight of their shared past hanging silently between them. The pink-haired woman smiled warmly under the clear sky, her long hair flowing gently in the breeze as she spoke. "Thank you, Nirvana Flame. My name is Yao Yao." A glowing notification appeared, indicating a friend request had been sent to the protagonist. "You saved me today, so let's add each other. I'd like to repay the favor," she added graciously. The young man returned her smile, the sunlight catching the sharp angles of his face, as a message confirmed the addition of Yao Yao as a friend. He asked with genuine curiosity, "By the way, what brings you to Heart of the Lake Island? Here for a quest?" She nodded, her expression earnest as she explained, "I have a quest to farm water spiders. I need to collect water sacks." The protagonist responded, "I'm here for water spiders too, but I need to collect fine silk. Want to party up?" Their shared goal sparked a sense of camaraderie as they stood side by the water's edge. The pink-haired woman extended her hand, a shimmering cocoon-like sack floating above her palm. "That works out perfectly. I actually have some fine silk dropped by the ones I killed earlier. Here, take it." A notification confirmed the trade between the 2 players. "Consider this a token of my gratitude," she said with a sincere smile, solidifying their newfound alliance. The protagonist held a glowing golden cocoon delicately between his fingers, a notification appearing above him. "Player has traded 12 items with you." He smiled softly, admiring the fine silks as he remarked, 12 fine silks. That's worth at least 36 copper coins." The pink-haired woman stood confidently before him, her expression thoughtful as she explained, "But the way I see it, 36 copper coins couldn't possibly buy back the experience I'd lose if I died and dropped a level. Besides, I don't have a quest for fine silk, so it's of no use to me anyway." The youth nodded in understanding and said, "All right, I'll accept it then." Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed overhead, crashing down with tremendous force. The two looked up in alarm as a gigantic spider emerged from the water, its eyes glowing ominously. A label appeared. Water Spider Lord. The pink-haired woman clenched her fists and called out urgently, "Bad news. It's a boss." Without hesitation, the pair solidified their alliance as a notification confirmed. "You have formed a party with player." The pink-haired woman readied herself, her long hair flowing behind her as they prepared to face the formidable foe together. The protagonist launched a swift and precise attack, his blade slicing through the air with deadly intent as the words "Vital Strike" flashed boldly, signaling the critical hit that landed on the massive spider. The damage indicator -52 appeared, marking the impact of his strike. The pink-haired woman responded immediately, her staff glowing with radiant energy as she chanted, "Holy Judgment!" A brilliant golden light enveloped her, illuminating the battlefield with a divine aura. The colossal spider reeled from the combined assault, crashing heavily onto the ground with a devastating impact that sent debris flying in all directions. The damage number, -70, appeared, emphasizing the power of their coordinated attack. Seizing the moment, the protagonist called out, "Jump!" as he propelled himself into the air with agility and grace. The pink-haired woman followed suit, leaping forward with determination. Their movements synchronized as they prepared to strike again amidst the chaos of the shattered earth beneath them. The protagonist leapt into the air with determination, his sharp golden eyes focused as he called out, "I'll hold the aggro, you focus on DPS." His body moved with fluid agility, ready to take on the brunt of the water spider lord's fury. The massive spider writhed under a barrage of attacks, multiple damage numbers flashing across its body. -30, -31, -29. The creature's dark, glistening form was battered relentlessly, debris scattering as the assault continued. The pink-haired woman responded swiftly, her emerald eyes bright with resolve as she raised her glowing staff. "Got it," she affirmed, chanting, "Holy Judgment, Holy Strike." A radiant golden light burst forth from her weapon, illuminating the battlefield with divine power. The combined force of their attacks sent the colossal spider crashing down, the damage number -70, marking the devastating blow. Swirling energy and shattered earth surrounded the impact, signaling the strength of their coordinated strike against the formidable boss. The massive water spider lord finally succumbed, its enormous body sinking beneath the shimmering surface of the water as a notification declared, "You have slain the..." The ripples and splashes echoed the end of the fierce battle, signaling their hard-earned victory. The pink-haired woman glanced sideways at her companion, her expression contemplative as she thought, "Strange, why does fighting alongside him feel so effortless?" The sky stretched wide and clear above them, the breeze gently stirring loose debris around. Even a powerful leader-grade boss felt like a walk in the park. "I've never experienced anything like this before," she admitted silently. "We've only just met, yet our coordination is flawless. It's as if we've been teammates for years." The protagonist stood calmly beside her, his gaze steady and confident, as if the battle had been nothing more than a routine exercise. Turning to her with a slight smile, he asked softly, "Is something wrong?" His golden eyes held a gentle curiosity, inviting her to share her thoughts. She quickly shook her head, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear as she replied with a warm smile, "It's nothing. I was just wondering, with skills like yours, why are you grinding out here all by yourself?" The youth's expression remained composed as he answered simply, "I prefer working alone." Their conversation carried a quiet understanding, the bond forged in battle lingering between them as the peaceful sky stretched overhead. The pink-haired woman's emerald eyes gleamed with a new resolve as she spoke softly, "Since he's a solo player." Her voice carried a hopeful tone as she continued, "My team is preparing to raid the Trey Ant Forest near Telek Town. Would you be interested in joining us?" The protagonist tilted his head slightly, his golden eyes sharp as he asked, "How many shield warriors do you have in your party? What's their defense and HP?" The sky stretched wide above them, the breeze gently stirring the edges of their clothing. Dryad Forest is a level 3 dungeon, and the boss, the Dryad King, is a sub-elite. If your shield's defense isn't high enough, it's almost impossible to clear it, he warned, his tone serious and measured. The pink-haired woman met his gaze steadily, her emerald eyes clear and confident as she replied, "We have 2 shield warriors, defense 53, HP 230. Her voice was calm but resolute, revealing the strength of her team. He shook his head slightly, stepping back to the edge of a wooden dock by a shimmering river. "Not enough. The Dryad King has a 2% chance to crit. If the shield's defense isn't at least 60, he can get one shot easily. And the priest's healing also has to keep up," he explained, holding up 2 fingers to emphasize his point. The pink-haired woman listened intently, her long hair flowing behind her as she absorbed the critical information. A look of surprise crossed her face, her hand rising to cover her mouth as she exclaimed, "The Dryad King can crit! I've never heard anyone say that before. How do you even know this?" The protagonist met her gaze calmly, his expression unreadable but confident, as the gentle river sparkled quietly behind them. The pink-haired woman's expression grew serious as she explained, "But our party has been preparing for days. We can't just back out halfway. To reach 60 defense, you'd need at least 1 bronze defensive piece. That's way too hard." Her gaze was steady, the weight of the challenge clear in her voice. The protagonist smiled slightly, a confident glint in his golden eyes as he replied, "Of course, there is another way." The wind caught her flowing hair as she looked at him curiously, asking, "What way?" He answered calmly, "That is to let me command your team." She hesitated, her emerald eyes reflecting a mix of trust and uncertainty. "Well, Nirvana Flame, I do trust your strength, but I'm not sure I can convince everyone in the party. But I'll try my best anyway." Her determination shone through despite the doubt lingering in her voice. Standing on the edge of a cliff overlooking the shimmering water, the protagonist raised his hand, summoning swirling purple flames that danced in the air. "All right, let's see what loot the boss dropped," he declared, the promise of new rewards sparking excitement as the pink-haired woman watched from behind, anticipation building for what lay ahead. The protagonist held up a bronze silk gauntlet, purple magical energy swirling around it as he appraised the item. The pink-haired woman looked on with wide, curious eyes, asking, "You learned appraisal?" The glowing text beside the gauntlet detailed its stats. Silk gauntlets quality. Bronze level requirement. 0 stats. Defense +2, mana +3 weight. 1.3 pounds user restriction. Mage, any faction. With a confident smile, he extended the gauntlet toward her, saying, "Perfect. It's mage gear. It's yours." She reached out hesitantly, then asked, "What about you then?" The landscape behind them stretched wide under a bright blue sky, the moment calm and hopeful. The youth then revealed 2 more items floating in his hand. A spool of rare silk and a skill book titled, "Look, the boss dropped rare silk and there's also a thief skill book. I'll just take these 2, he explained, his golden eyes gleaming with satisfaction. The pink-haired woman beamed, clutching the gauntlet to her chest with joy. "That's great, so you got quite the haul too. In that case, I won't be shy," she declared, her emerald eyes shining with excitement and gratitude as the gentle breeze ruffled her flowing hair. A notification framed by a skeletal design appeared against the bright blue sky, warning that the game would shut down in 3 minutes and urging players to prepare to log off. Standing by a sparkling riverbank, the protagonist and the pink-haired woman exchanged glances as the sound of rushing water filled the air. Suddenly, she exclaimed with a mix of surprise and urgency, "Servers closing." With a bright smile, the young woman raised her hand in a cheerful wave, her long pink hair flowing gently as pixelated fragments shimmered around her. "Nirvana Flame, see you next time," she called out warmly, her emerald eyes sparkling with sincerity. The protagonist returned the gesture, his golden eyes calm and steady as he raised his hand in farewell. "Then I should log off too. Today's leveling ends here for now," he said quietly, the digital particles around him beginning to dissolve into the air as the world around them started to fade. The scene shifted indoors to a quiet room bathed in the soft glow of morning sunlight filtering through patterned curtains. Lying on a bed, the youth held a sleek helmet in his hands, gazing at it thoughtfully. Beside him, a framed photo of 2 smiling figures rested on a wooden nightstand. He murmured to himself, "It's already the next morning," signaling the start of a new day beyond the game. A close-up shows the youth slipping his foot out of a sneaker, the motion deliberate as he reflects, "My leveling and conviction can pause for now, but my body needs training as well." Standing tall in a room filled with furniture and books, he clenches his fist with determination, declaring, "There'll definitely be lots of bodyguards around Chaosu. I can't let myself be the passive one." His sharp golden eyes scan the space, resolve clear in his stance. Outside, the morning sun casts warm light over a bustling city street. The young man sprints along the sidewalk, weaving through pedestrians and trees, his figure a blur of motion as he pushes forward with purpose. Suddenly, a large truck barrels down the road, its tires screeching as it brakes hard. The youth reacts instantly, narrowly avoiding the vehicle with a quick sidestep, the tension of the moment captured in the sharp lines and dynamic angles. The protagonist suddenly crashed hard onto the pavement of a narrow alley, the impact sending shockwaves through the ground as 2 startled onlookers watched from a distance. He quickly pushed himself up, his golden eyes sharp and alert despite the fall. A concerned voice called out, "Nyayen, are you okay?" But he only responded with a questioning look, momentarily disoriented. From behind, a young woman with long, flowing pink hair stepped forward, her green eyes wide with worry as leaves swirled gently around her in the breeze. The caption identified her as Sayo. Kneeling beside him, she grasped his hand firmly, her expression a mix of concern and frustration. "Sayo?" he asked, confused by her sudden appearance. She scolded him gently. "How could you be so careless? You're bleeding," pointing to the fresh wound on his arm as she tended to him with urgency. The protagonist assured her, "I have a first aid kit in my car. Wait here." As she turned toward the vehicle, his thoughts drifted inward, revealing a deep regret. "Sayo is my deskmate, and also my greatest regret in my previous life. Because I was too timid, I never managed to confess my feelings to her." The scene shifted to a close-up of the pink-haired woman holding a rolled bandage, her expression somber as the narration continued. "In the end, because she was involved with me, she was targeted by Chao Su's Century Group and developed a severe psychological illness." Back in the present moment, she carefully wrapped the bandage around his arm. Her green eyes filled with concern as she gently chided, "Really? Can you stop being so rash all the time?" The young man looked at her with a calm yet appreciative gaze, silently acknowledging her care. Their eyes met, the atmosphere softening with a warm glow and delicate sparkles surrounding them. The pink-haired woman's cheeks flushed slightly, caught off guard by the intensity of the moment, while the protagonist smiled gently, a quiet promise lingering in the air between them. The pink-haired woman's voice carried a hint of frustration as she asked, "Are you even listening to me?" The protagonist smiled slightly, his golden eyes gleaming with quiet amusement as he replied, "I've got you for that, don't I?" His thoughts revealed a tender admiration, noting silently, "As expected, she's still just as cute as before." She turned away abruptly, cheeks flushed, and declared with a pout, "Humph, who cares about you? Bye." Her long hair swayed as she moved toward a nearby car, leaving the young man standing behind her, watching with a calm expression. Seated behind the wheel, the young woman's green eyes narrowed thoughtfully as she pondered, "Nirvana Flame, Nyayen, could he really be that Nyayen I know?" Her gaze softened, reflecting on the subtle change in him. "But he feels a little different now, more confident, just like Nirvana Flame in the game." The protagonist's face was cast in shadow, his golden eyes burning with determination. His inner voice confessed, "Seeing Xiao again really makes me happy, but that lunatic Chao Su will eventually ruin everything I have all over again. I have to establish myself in conviction as soon as possible. Only then can I change the fate of my previous life." A hand holds a phone displaying an incoming call from Tang Yao. The voice on the other end shouts urgently, "Hey, Nyayen, where the hell did you disappear to? No word from you for 2 days. Get over here now." The young man with spiky blonde hair yells fiercely, grabbing the protagonist by the collar, who looks startled and slightly uneasy as he holds his own phone. The protagonist answers the call with a calm smile, saying, "Thank God, Tang Yao, you're still alive." Behind him, the blonde man stands confidently, his expression warm and friendly. The narration reveals, "Tang Yao is my best buddy. In my previous life, when I fell into the abyss, he secretly helped support me with money, even though it risked drawing Chao Su's attention. It made my life a lot less miserable." The scene shifts to a close-up of the protagonist's face, half-shadowed with a determined glare. His thoughts continue, "But this guy loves flirting around. Last time, he got into a fight over a girl at a bar and ended up crossing someone with huge power. They beat him to death and dumped his body in a dark alley. But this time around, I'll never let that kind of thing happen again." The blonde man wraps an arm around the protagonist's shoulders, grinning broadly as they walk down a busy city street filled with casually dressed pedestrians. He teases, "Finally caught you, kid?" The protagonist looks slightly annoyed but allows the gesture, the two clearly sharing a close bond amid the lively urban backdrop. The blonde man draped an arm casually over the protagonist's shoulders, grinning as he asked, "Conviction's really popular lately. Have you played it?" The other responded with a calm tone, holding a coffee cup, "Yeah, level 2 shadow dancer thief." They walked side by side down a sunlit city street, their shadows stretching long behind them. The blonde teased, "Not bad, you're already level 2, before adding with enthusiasm, "Let's go. We'll hit the PK arena. I'm a level 3 arcane mage." The scene shifted to a sleek, futuristic gaming lounge bathed in cool blue and orange lights. The protagonist's voice narrated, "The PK arena is a gaming lounge. Players can use their own characters there to do PvP matches, and these matches don't affect their in-game progression." The view panned upward to a large suspended screen displaying information, as a crowd gathered below. The narration continued, "But since there's PvP, there are always stakes, usually 1 or 2 pieces of in-game gear. And Tang Yao loves to gamble, even though he almost always loses." The blonde man waved toward the crowd, while the protagonist observed the scene with a thoughtful expression. Inside a dimly lit, high-tech room, a man with long blue hair greeted the blonde youth with a sly smile. "Well, if it isn't young Master Tang, Always right on time to hand us more money? The blonde man, wearing a white and purple jacket, responded coolly, Humph. We'll see who's handing money to whom today. The blue-haired man was identified as Wei Kai. Wei Kai's expression shifted to one of surprise as he spotted a familiar figure entering the room. Yen, you came too? He asked with a mocking tone. The protagonist, standing confidently beside the blonde man, smirked and taunted. I didn't teach you enough of a lesson last time? Ha ha ha. The blonde man beside him looked serious, eyes narrowed. The blonde youth draped an arm over the MC's shoulder, offering reassurance with a grin. Relax. As long as I'm here, they won't dare do anything to you. The protagonist replied with a simple, yeah. His expression calm but alert. Wei Kai's face darkened with suspicion as he thought to himself, weird, why is this kid Yen so calm today? Did he grow a spine? Did something happen? A shadowy image of the protagonist from an earlier, more vulnerable time appeared behind the blue-haired man's face, emphasizing the change Wei Kai was noticing. The blonde youth, holding a futuristic helmet marked with Anici, called out sharply, urging his companion to stop hesitating and join him. Quit dawdling and get over here. 200 per round, he declared, clearly eager to get started. The MC, now seated and donning the helmet, glanced up at the large screen displaying their upcoming match. Yen Level 3 Arcane Mage versus Wei Kai, Level 3 Berserker. With a calm but resolute voice, he accepted the challenge, saying, fine, I'm in. He then thoughtfully analyzed the situation, noting, Wei Kai's a Level 3 Berserker and he knows charge. That's a bad. His words trailed off as the scene shifted, hinting at the gravity of the upcoming battle. The virtual battlefield materialized, showing two figures standing apart on a flat prairie. The protagonist observed the terrain, commenting, and it's flat prairie terrain, hard for an arcane mage to dodge on. He concluded with a sober prediction. Tang Yao is probably going to lose. A man with grayish-blue hair called out to the protagonist. Hey, Yen. He crossed his arms and smirked, adding, stop looking. That kid Tang Yao is definitely losing this round. How about we play a round two? The MC turned slightly, his expression unreadable but calm. After a brief pause, he responded simply, sure. He added with a hint of caution. But just one round, and if the stake is too small, I'm not interested. The gray-haired man clenched his fist, his face contorted with frustration and determination as he shouted, you brat, acting all cocky now. I'm definitely teaching you a lesson today. I've got 700 on me. One round, all in. The scene shifted to a wide view of the gaming arena, where the two players sat facing their controls inside a circular platform surrounded by spectators. The large screen above them displayed the match details. Yen, Level 2 Shadow Dancer Thief, versus Sure Phone Level 2 Ranger. The tension in the room was palpable as the next battle was about to begin. The scene flickered with digital distortion as the view shifted upward through a dense bamboo grove, the tall stalks swaying gently under a clear blue sky. Two figures stood amidst the greenery, one questioning the location aloud. Bamboo Grove. Their presence was marked by pixelated glitches, hinting at a virtual or game-like environment. Suddenly, a sharp command broke the calm. Stealth. The focus tightened on a silver-haired young man whose intense gaze was framed by a glowing aura, signaling the activation of a stealth ability. Nearby, another figure with spiky gray hair mirrored the urgency, eyes wide with alertness as the stealth effect took hold. The tranquil forest was disrupted by swirling gusts of wind, leaves and petals caught in the sudden turbulence. The atmosphere thickened with tension as the stealthy figure prepared to move, the environment reacting to the impending confrontation. In a blur of motion, the gray-haired youth lunged forward with a curved blade, his expression fierce and determined. He taunted his opponent with a sharp retort. Humph, arrogant fool. You're definitely losing today. The clash of wills was palpable as the battle in the bamboo grove commenced. The bamboo grove lay quiet, shadows stretching across the grassy clearing as a voice broke the stillness with frustration. Where the hell did that kid hide? The question hung in the air, the speaker's foot firmly planted on the ground, scanning the dense foliage for any sign of movement. Suddenly, a sharp movement caught his eye above. He tilted his head back, eyes narrowing as he spotted a faint shimmer among the leaves. Just as I thought, up there, he muttered, a hint of grudging respect in his tone. 10 years of thief experience. Hiding my presence is second nature to me now, the MC admitted, his gaze steady and confident as he blended seamlessly with the shadows of the bamboo. Without hesitation, the agile youth sprang into action, his body twisting midair as he launched a swift, precise strike toward his opponent. The man below, caught off guard, froze with wide, shocked eyes as the attack came crashing down. The impact landed hard, a sharp cry of pain escaping the man as a bright red damage indicator flashed. -40. His health bar visibly dropped to 70 out of 110. The force of the blow leaving him reeling and vulnerable. The man suddenly realized with alarm, when did he get behind me? As the MC swiftly closed the distance, his movements a blur of speed and precision. With a calm yet determined expression, the young man swung a glowing weapon in a decisive arc, declaring, "It's over." The air shimmered with the power of his strike as the words "vital strike" appeared, signaling the final blow. The impact landed with devastating force, the opponent staggering backward as a red damage indicator flashed -70. The MC stood firm, his attack having clearly turned the tide of the battle. The defeated player's face twisted in shock and disbelief as digital fragments began to cascade down his form, signaling his character's imminent demise. His mouth hung open in a silent scream, eyes wide and vacant, overwhelmed by the sudden and absolute defeat. In the arena, a group of onlookers stared at the large screen in stunned silence before one of them finally broke the quiet, exclaiming, "It's over." Another voice followed, incredulous. "That brat Sherfong lost that fast?" The crowd's disbelief filled the air, the rapid conclusion of the match catching everyone off guard. Meanwhile, the protagonist leaned back slightly, a faint, confident smile playing on his lips as he regarded the aftermath. His calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the chaos of the battle just moments before. He mused quietly to himself, PKing a level 2 newbie ranger really is bullying him. The defeated player sat nearby, his expression troubled and contemplative as he held a piece of equipment in his hands. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he questioned silently, "Why?" His thoughts raced, analyzing the swift defeat. Just a few simple movements, yet he managed to strike right at the vital point and kill in a single blow. The realization of his opponent's precision and skill weighed heavily on him. In the dimly lit corridor, a figure in a dark coat reached out to grasp a futuristic helmet. His gaze fixed ahead as a voice wondered aloud, "Since when did this kid Nyeyen become so decisive?" The scene shifted to a tense confrontation where a pale-haired man was grabbed by the collar, trembling as three others watched with mixed expressions. One voice questioned incredulously, "Is this really the same Nyeyen who used to be timid and always swallowed his anger?" The MC now stood facing a blonde youth clad in a purple and white jacket, who asked calmly, "How did it go?" The response came with a weary tone, "Don't mention it. I lost 2 rounds and I'm down 1,200. Suddenly, the blonde youth clenched his fist, his expression fierce as a dark, muscular figure with glowing red eyes and swirling anti-magic aura loomed behind him. The youth exclaimed, "Damn it! That brat Wei Kai learned Berserker's anti-magic aura. It completely counters my arcane mage." The blonde youth admitted his mistake, explaining that the anti-magic aura only slightly reduces spell damage and isn't as powerful as it seems. Our MC calmly advised that timing spell casts properly makes dealing with berserkers manageable. The younger one nodded, acknowledging that he had mistimed his spells, leaving everything on cooldown, which allowed his opponent to close in and one-shot him. The blonde youth then looked thoughtful, impressed by the other's knowledge, and asked where he had learned so much. Without a word, the protagonist suddenly thrust a thick wad of cash toward him, causing the blonde to recoil in surprise as he stammered, "You just won that." Their tense moment was interrupted by a sharp voice from behind, shouting, "Punk, acting all cocky now?" The two turned to see a dark-haired man glaring at them, his anger palpable as he confronted the pair. A young man, his face flushed with anger and determination, clenched his fist and shouted, "You really dare win our money? Watch how I teach you a lesson today." His aggressive stance made it clear he was ready to attack without hesitation. In a swift, fluid motion, the MC grabbed the man's wrist firmly, halting his advance before it could even begin. The sudden grip was unyielding, stopping the angry strike in its tracks. Without missing a beat, the protagonist launched himself forward, delivering a powerful kick that sent the aggressor flying backward. The impact was so forceful that the man tumbled through the air, his arms flailing as he cried out in surprise and pain. The young man's sharp golden eyes gleamed with calm confidence as he reflected silently, "In my previous life, I also trained a bit to deal with Chao Su." His composed expression contrasted starkly with the chaos he had just subdued, revealing a depth of experience beneath his cool exterior. The blonde youth's eyes widened in shock as he turned to face the protagonist walking away. "What?" he exclaimed, disbelief coloring his voice. His thoughts raced, stunned by the transformation in the man he once knew. This brother of mine, when did he become so tough? Behind the MC, 2 men exchanged uneasy glances. One, with long brown hair tucked under a cap, gripped the other's shoulder tightly, warning, "We'd better not mess with him. This guy is definitely not easy to deal with." The other man, pale and sweating, stammered in agreement, but their caution was met with a sharp retort from the protagonist, who coldly called them coward. A close-up of the MC's face revealed a steely determination as he silently reflected. Nyeyen really is completely different from before. His sharp blue eyes burned with a newfound resolve, signaling a man who had shed his past weaknesses. The tension escalated as the two men, now joined by a third, clenched their fists and prepared to attack. The MC stood his ground, his posture calm but ready. With a commanding tone, he challenged them. "You just beat my underling?" The aggressors hesitated, caught off guard by his sudden confrontation and unwavering confidence. The MC crossed his arms and replied coolly, "Just played around a bit." He was a little weak. The other man, looking nervous and sweating, listened intently as the confident figure maintained his composed demeanor. Suddenly, a man with striking blue hair and a sharp suit stepped forward, extending his hand with a sly smile. "Young Master Nye, interested in playing around with me?" he asked. The MC tilted his head slightly, a faint smirk playing on his lips as he responded, "I could, but I won't play if the stakes are too low." The blue-haired man pulled out a thick wad of cash, waving it enticingly. 1,000 per round. I've got 3,000 total." Nearby, a blond youth with a purple and white jacket interjected, his voice rising in protest. "You're a level 3 berserker. My bro is a level 2 shadow dancer thief. Don't you think that's bullying?" The MC raised 2 fingers confidently and said with a calm yet firm tone, 3,000 per round. His golden eyes gleamed with determination, signaling that he was ready to accept the challenge on his own terms. The blue-haired man's eyes narrowed with disbelief as he declared, "Fine, I'll play along." Yet, his thoughts betrayed his skepticism, doubting that a mere level 2 shadow dancer thief could pull off a miracle. Suddenly, the blond youth grabbed the protagonist by the shoulders, his voice urgent and incredulous as he shouted, "Nyeyen, are you crazy? Do you even have that much money?" The tension between them was palpable, the younger man clearly worried about the stakes being raised. Calm and composed, the MC responded with a confident smile. "No, that's why I'm asking to borrow a bit from you." The blonde's expression shifted from shock to reluctant acceptance as he clenched his fist and vowed, "Damn, whatever. I'll risk my life and back you up." The scene shifted dramatically as the words "entering game" flashed across the screen, signaling the start of the intense showdown. 2 figures materialized, locked in a fierce versus stance, ready to face off in a battle that promised to test their limits. A vast open plain stretches under a bright sky, where 2 figures stand facing each other at a distance, the wind stirring the grass and leaves around them. A large bird soars overhead, emphasizing the openness of the battlefield. The blond youth's face tightens with concern as he exclaims, "Not good, it's open plains." Beside him, a man with long dark hair pulled back under a cap nods grimly, adding, "This terrain is terrible for thieves who need to stay hidden." Their worried expressions reveal the disadvantage they feel in such an exposed environment. A muscular man with long blue hair, clad in black armor and carrying a massive sword over his shoulder, speaks confidently, "Young Master Nye, if you think this is unfair, we can change the map." The MC, seen from behind, listens calmly, his sharp golden eyes fixed on the man's confident stance. Without hesitation, the protagonist replies firmly, "No need." His gaze sharpens as a dark aura swirls around him, and he declares with resolve, "Let's just use this grassland map." The determination in his eyes signals his readiness to face the challenge head-on despite the unfavorable terrain. A close-up reveals the MC's hand as he activates a skill, a faint blue aura swirling around his fingers. The word stealth flashes boldly, signaling the initiation of a hidden maneuver. The scene pulls back to show the muscular man with long blue hair standing alone in the vast open grassland, his massive sword resting on his shoulder. A gust of wind sweeps across the field, bending the grass in a wide arc around him, emphasizing the openness and exposure of the battlefield. The blue-haired warrior's sharp eyes narrow in frustration as he scans the area, his voice tense as he demands, "Where is he?" His expression reveals the difficulty of tracking an opponent who has seemingly vanished. From behind, the man grips his sword tightly, his gaze fixed on the disturbed grass. He thinks to himself that the grass will betray his position, and the enemy will surely use it to trace his movements. Realizing the disadvantage, he admits the need to seek outside assistance, preparing to call for backup in this challenging duel. The blue-haired warrior stood firm, gripping his massive sword as the wind began to swirl around him. He muttered to himself, for example, "The wind," as the grass bent and twisted in a sudden gust, signaling a shift in the battlefield's atmosphere. His sharp eyes widened in alarm as the wind intensified, whipping through the grass with increasing force. "The wind's picking up!" he exclaimed, frustration creeping into his voice. "Damn, I lost him." The sudden gust had masked the thief's movements, making it impossible to track him. With a powerful swing, the warrior swung his sword in a wide arc, the blade cutting through the air and grass as he searched desperately for any sign of his elusive opponent. His stance was tense, muscles coiled for another strike, but the thief remained unseen. Sweat beaded on the MC's forehead as he crouched low, clutching his sword tightly. Damn it! This is the first time I've seen a thief use stealth to such a masterful level, he thought, eyes scanning the bushes. The bushes, which normally make it easiest to spot a thief, are actually being used by him instead. The realization dawned on him that his opponent had turned the environment itself into a weapon of concealment. The wind suddenly ceased, leaving the MC crouched low in the grass, his hand gripping a dagger tightly. He thought to himself that when the next gust of wind came, that would be the moment to make his move. The blue-haired warrior, sword raised and eyes sharp, analyzed the situation carefully. He concluded that to avoid revealing any flaws, the thief must be moving very slowly while using stealth. He was certain the opponent was somewhere directly in front of him, preparing for the next strike. A sudden rush of wind swept across the open plain, bending the grass and stirring the air. The warrior's hair whipped wildly as he focused intently, readying himself for the impending attack. In a blur of motion, the MC lunged forward, slashing fiercely with his dagger. The blue-haired man cried out in pain as the blade struck, a damage indicator flashing that he had lost 35 health points, his stance faltering under the unexpected assault. The blue-haired warrior swung his massive sword in a wide arc, but suddenly, the MC appeared behind him, dodging with agility. The man's eyes widened in shock as he exclaimed, "When did this brat slip behind me?" The air around them seemed to ripple with the force of their movements, dust and grass swirling violently. Without hesitation, the protagonist shouted, "Whirlwind slash!" as a green, spiraling energy erupted from his great sword, cutting through the air toward his opponent. The blue-haired man braced himself, but the attack was swift and relentless, the swirling blade energy closing in with deadly precision. The MC strike landed, and a damage indicator flashed, showing he had dealt 91 points of damage. His eyes narrowed with focus as he thought. When using whirlwind slash with a greatsword equipped, there's about a 1-second ending lag after the move. The warrior staggered back, clutching his side where the blow had landed, clearly affected by the powerful strike. Seizing the moment, the MC pressed the advantage, his expression fierce as he declared, "That's my key to victory." His body blurred with speed as he launched into another attack, determined to capitalize on the brief vulnerability left by the whirlwind slash's recovery time. The muscular warrior with flowing blue hair swung his massive greatsword down with tremendous force, the blade crashing into the ground and sending shards of earth and grass flying in all directions. The impact was fierce, the air around him rippling with the power of his strike as he aimed to break through his opponent's defenses. As the dust and grass swirled in the aftermath, a sudden thought crossed the MC's mind. Now's my chance. With the battlefield momentarily obscured, he prepared to exploit the opening left by the heavy blow. In a blur of motion, the youth launched a precise and deadly counterattack, his fist glowing with a red aura as he executed a vital strike. The energy of the move surged through his body, aiming to land a critical hit on the unsuspecting opponent. Nearby observers watched in stunned silence, their eyes wide with disbelief. One exclaimed, "How is that possible?" While another added, "The timing of his skill activation is way too precise." The shock was evident as they witnessed the flawless execution of the youth's attack, perfectly timed to catch the warrior off guard. The MC twisted his body with lightning speed, narrowly evading a powerful slash from the muscular warrior wielding a massive greatsword. The blade cut through the air, striking his side and dealing a heavy blow of 96 damage. The warrior's roar of pain echoed as the youth landed gracefully on the ground, eyes sharp and calculating. The blue-haired man's health bar flashed dangerously low at 34 out of 165, his face contorted in desperation and fury. With a fierce cry, he shouted, "Flame slash!" as he swung his greatsword, which suddenly burst into roaring flames, the fiery aura illuminating the tense battlefield. The flaming blade descended with overwhelming force, the heat and power of the attack threatening to engulf everything in its path. The blue-haired warrior's eyes glowed red with rage as he bellowed, "Go to hell!" charging forward with relentless aggression, determined to end the fight in a blaze of fire and steel. A blonde-haired youth shouted urgently, warning, "Nyeyen, get out of the way!" His expression was tense, eyes wide with concern as he called out to the protagonist. The MC braced himself as a massive fiery slash surged toward him. In his mind, he calculated the situation. Wei Kai wants to force me back with flame slash. As a thief, close-quarters combat is my advantage. My health is still high. Even if I take this hit head-on, I can't leave my optimal combat range. His golden eyes narrowed with determination, ready to face the incoming attack. The blue-haired warrior swung his flaming greatsword with brutal force, the fiery arc crashing down toward the MC. The strike landed, dealing a heavy blow of 56 damage, but the protagonist raised his arm to block, his stance steady despite the impact. The blue-haired man's face twisted with rage as he shouted, "You brat! You actually dared to take my skill head-on. Arrogant!" His wild blue hair whipped around him, his fury palpable as he prepared for another assault. The blue-haired warrior roared as he swung his great sword in a wide arc, shouting, "Linear sword slash!" The blade glowed with a fierce red aura, cutting through the air with deadly precision. With a powerful charge, he lunged forward, the red energy swirling violently around him as he aimed to crush his opponent with overwhelming force. The momentum carried him through the air, his muscles tensed for impact. Nearby, a blonde-haired youth's eyes widened in alarm as he shouted, "Crap! Charge has a brief stun effect. If it hits, Yen is done for." A smirking man with long hair and a backward cap added, "That kid Yen is still acting tough in front of us. Does he really think Wei Kai's skills are just for show?" But the protagonist moved with lightning speed, narrowly evading the deadly slash. He dodged it?" The blonde youth gasped. "He dodged a linear sword slash from that close?" The thief's expression was calm and focused as he slipped past the attack, ready to counter with precision. The MC gripped his dagger tightly, his mind racing as he realized, "Charge's attack range is shorter than my dagger. If I can seize this opening, I win." His fingers clenched the hilt with fierce determination, preparing to exploit the brief vulnerability in his opponent's assault. In a blur of motion, he lunged forward, his dagger slicing through the air as he intercepted the blue-haired warrior's powerful charge. The clash was intense, the red aura of the greatsword swirling violently as it met the swift strike. The thief's precise timing and agility allowed him to parry the attack, the momentum of the charge threatening to overwhelm but ultimately falling short. The impact sent the blue-haired man flying backward, crashing into the tall grass with a heavy thud. His body recoiled from the force, blood spurting from his mouth as the thief stood firm, eyes sharp and unyielding. The battlefield seemed to hold its breath in the wake of the sudden reversal, the tension palpable as the warrior struggled to regain his footing. The blue-haired warrior lay sprawled on the ground, his health bar flashing ominously at 0 out of 165. His eyes were wide with shock and disbelief, the fight slipping from his grasp as the MC stood victorious, his expression calm but resolute. The MC landed a powerful strike, dealing 40 damage as he swung his dagger with precision. Despite taking a hit from the impact, he thought to himself, "I still got hit by the impact, but thankfully, I struck first." His stance was firm, the wind whipping around him as he prepared for what came next. A close-up revealed his intense golden eyes, filled with determination and focus, his face marked with bruises and dirt from the fierce battle. The words "You win" appeared boldly, signaling his victory over the opponent. Nearby, a group of onlookers reacted with shock and disbelief. One exclaimed, "He won? A level 2 thief beat a level 3 berserker." Another questioned, "He lost? How is that possible?" They struggled to comprehend how the younger combatant had outmaneuvered a stronger foe. How does that kid Yen know a berserker's skill ranges so well? How did he pull that off? They wondered aloud, their astonishment evident. The defeated blue-haired warrior, still catching his breath, held his helmet in his hands, his expression one of stunned realization. I actually lost?" he murmured quietly, coming to terms with the unexpected outcome of the battle. The MC stood calmly, holding his helmet as a blonde-haired man approached him excitedly, exclaiming, "Holy shit, not bad, man. You won a level 2 versus level 3 matchup." The MC responded modestly, "It was just luck." The blonde-haired man, draping an arm over the MC's shoulder, said with a grin, "You know a lot about conviction, don't you? Teach me how to play an arcane mage." The protagonist laughed, replying, "No problem. I'll teach you everything I know." As they spoke, a group of other players entered the arena, their expressions serious. The blonde-haired man turned to the MC and asked, "What's wrong, Wei Kai? You're not going to back out after losing, are you?" A tall man with long blue hair and a sharp gaze stepped forward, addressing the blonde-haired man by name. "Tang Yao, what kind of person do you take me for? I accept my defeat. Whenever you two have time, you can come hang out at my bar." His tone was firm but respectful, signaling an end to the tension. A tall man with long blue hair, dressed in a sharp black suit and tie, led a determined group forward, his voice firm as he declared, "Let's go." The others followed closely behind, their expressions serious and ready for what lay ahead. The man with the blue hair was questioned by a freckled youth wearing a backward cap, who asked, "Why were you so polite to that kid Yen?" The suited figure responded thoughtfully, "You can't just judge a person by their present. You have to look at the long term. That kid has changed. He might skyrocket in the future, so it's best we don't make an enemy out of him." Later, The MC smiled warmly as he spoke to the blonde-haired man beside him. Come on. We won a lot today. Dinner is on me. The blonde grinned in response. Awesome. The protagonist continued. As for the arcane mage stuff, I'll contact you in the game tonight. The scene shifted to a quiet night, where a full moon illuminated the windows of a modest building, its lights glowing softly against the dark sky. The MC lay on a blue exercise mat, sweat glistening on his toned muscles as he pushed through a series of sit-ups. His focus was unwavering, the effort evident in the tight grip of his hands behind his head and the strain in his legs. He then transitioned seamlessly into push-ups, his arms trembling slightly under the weight of his own body, determination etched across his face. Rising to his feet, he wiped the sweat from his brow and smiled with a sense of satisfaction. It's great to have a young body, he mused aloud, flexing his well-defined muscles. Now that I'm done working out, it's time to log into conviction. His eyes gleamed with anticipation as he reached for a futuristic helmet resting on a nearby table. Holding the sleek helmet carefully, he spoke with resolve. As promised, I need to run the Treyant Forest with Yao Yao's party. The helmet began to emit a glowing blue light, pixels cascading downward as the device powered up, signaling the imminent transition from reality to the virtual world. Suddenly, the scene shifted to a vibrant outdoor landscape under a bright blue sky dotted with fluffy clouds. The young man materialized, surrounded by shimmering blue digital particles that swirled around him like a cloak. Back in conviction, he declared confidently, standing tall on a grassy field, ready to embark on the next adventure. A notification appeared before the MC, informing him that Player Stork had sent a friend request, asking if he would accept or reject it. Simultaneously, another message popped up, revealing that Player Flying Stone had deposited 1 silver coin into his personal storage. The message continued, praising the guide he had provided, which had helped clear the fallen shaman camp, and mentioned that another silver coin had been mailed to his storage. A request for a guide to the Ogmat Mud Swamp was also included, emphasizing the urgency of the need. Without hesitation, he accepted the friend request, muttering to himself that Stork must be Tang Yao. Since the player was here, he decided to bring him along to the Treyant Forest. However, when considering the request for the Ogmat Mud Swamp guide, he explained that he couldn't keep selling dungeon guides or people would become suspicious. Instead, it was better to let the party fail a few times so he could sell the guide later at a higher price. Gazing thoughtfully at the peaceful riverside where an elderly man fished quietly, the young man resolved that his immediate priority was to turn in the hidden quest he had just triggered. The calm scenery contrasted with the urgency of his mission, underscoring the importance of completing this task promptly. Approaching an older man with a long white beard and weathered face, the MC presented 30 pieces of fine silk he had collected. The elder, identified as Physician Blevins, inquired about the amount of fine silk gathered. The young man respectfully handed over the silk, signaling the completion of this part of his quest, and setting the stage for what was to come next. The elderly man with a long gray beard smiled warmly, expressing his gratitude. Thank you for your generosity, young man. As a token of my gratitude, please take these 30 pieces of silk. Additionally, I've decided to teach you a skill. A notification confirmed the receipt of 30 silk and asked if the young man wanted to learn the intermediate combat bandage skill from Physician Blevins. The MC's eyes gleamed with determination as he declared, "This skill is exactly why I came. Learn." Green energy swirled around him as he absorbed the knowledge. A message appeared, confirming that he had learned the intermediate combat bandage skill, which allowed him to craft and use bandages that restored health and could be used on teammates. Despite handing over the fine silk, the young man noticed the quest progress was only at 20%. Puzzled, he wondered aloud. I handed over the fine silk, so the quest should be finished. Why is it only at 20%? Could this be a chain quest? The older man nodded, explaining, 30 pieces of fine silk are far from enough, young man. I need even more fine silk. Can you help me find some? The MC responded eagerly. I am at your service. The realization hit him hard as he thought, it really is a chain quest. A notification beeped, signaling the continuation of the mission. The MC received a sharp, chibi-style summon from a pink-haired figure, urging him to hurry as the party was fully assembled. Smiling, he assured her he was on his way, while internally resolving to return and complete the chain quest after the dungeon run. His immediate goal was to obtain the Featherfall Jewel, a rare drop from the Treyant Forest. The scene shifted to a bustling town square under a clear blue sky, where a blond man in a purple and white outfit stood confidently with his hands on his hips. He recalled that the young man, Nyayen, had promised to take him on a dungeon run and wondered where he was. Suddenly, the MC appeared, greeting the blond man warmly. They shook hands as the blond man invited him to join the hunt for the Treyant King, signaling the start of their adventure together. From a distance, a group approached, led by a tall blonde woman clad in shining armor and a pink-haired woman waving enthusiastically. The pink-haired woman called out to the MC, addressing him as Nirvana Flame, while the blonde woman, Yulan, stood resolutely beside her, ready to join the party. The blonde man nudged the MC excitedly, exclaiming, "Whoa, two gorgeous girls. What a feast for the eyes. When did you meet them, bro?" The MC glanced ahead with a calm expression, seemingly unfazed by the enthusiasm. The pink-haired woman smiled warmly as she explained, "Nirvana Flame, took a lot of effort to convince Yulan. You absolutely cannot make me lose face in front of everyone." Her tone was playful but firm, emphasizing the importance of the blonde woman's presence. A man with long reddish-brown hair tied back with a headband crossed his arms and let out a sharp "H." The label identified him as Chun Bo, the Gale Thief, his expression one of mild irritation or disdain. The blonde woman stepped forward confidently, greeting the MC with a simple hello. She addressed him directly, asking, "Nirvana Flame, are you the Gale Thief Yao Yao said could lead us through the Treyant Forest?" A thought bubble revealed her assessment. This guy seems very composed. He carries himself with a calm demeanor, which certainly matches the traits of an expert. Behind her, several party members watched the exchange with interest. The MC spoke with unwavering confidence, asserting, "Yes, I am absolutely certain I can clear the Treyant Forest." He then made his stance clear, declaring firmly, "But let me be clear beforehand. I will be the party leader, and everyone must follow my orders." The group fell silent, their expressions unreadable as they processed his words. Among them, a tall man clad in dark armor and a woman with a high ponytail and a cloak exchanged glances, their faces stoic under the bright sky. Suddenly, a man with long reddish-brown hair tied back with a headband stepped forward, his voice sharp and challenging. "Why should we listen to you?" he demanded. "What if you don't know anything and end up getting us all killed?" His fierce glare underscored the tension as the party awaited the response to this